Welcome to the Liverpool 12th Man Show. Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever we are reaching you in the world. Welcome. And with me, as always, is Brian. How are you doing, Brian?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
I am good. We're all Brian and we're working on the delay in between us, everyone. So please keep in mind that that's sometimes, hopefully, we can work out some of the awkward silences and such, or sometimes when we end up, kind of talking over each other a little bit. We are making sure that StreamYard knows that we got to knock this out, so we have quality broadcast for you, and so that we can, be able to really get a concise and well-tuned show, somewhat like the second half of yesterday of the game, I should say, this week or this midweek. So big up the Revenite, big up the Redbird, big up the Drunk Vigo. We got a lot of participants already in the house, starting early.
That's nice.
Wow. Let's just jump right into it, Brian. I really want to know, how were you feeling yesterday? I know it's a tale of two halves, but what were some of your thoughts about yesterday's game, I should say, excuse me.
It's getting harder to keep sitting there every sort of 25 minutes into a game, and it's not going well. And to have to pull out the whole good, we're poor in the first half and we're shit in the second half, because there's a lot of people, that their heads were dropping, giving up the title at a half an hour. And it's like, yeah, it doesn't look good, but how many times have we done that this year? That's pretty much the tale of our season. Tale of two halves. Pretty much 1-0 down first half, come back, win a 4-1. It's pretty much perfect analogy for our season.
Yeah.
So and people are saying, look, Brian, we can't keep doing it. It's not sustainable. It's not like we have the player, and it's like, yeah, we don't. It's
yeah, I know.
It is hard to keep going back to that well. I'm saying, look, I would much rather just sometimes just be 2-0 up at halftime and just take it easy. Like, it's going to wear you down having to keep coming back and pull these mad wins out of fire. So as great as they are, it proves the mentality is still there and still strong. But just every now and again, it would be nice to score some of these goals before halftime and just take our foot off the pedal a little bit. Because, look, if it has to be our calling card for the season, great. But let's put a few games to bed a little bit earlier. Let's not, like, the amount of, and it's not a Diaz thing, but the amount of, a lot of them fell to Diaz, but a lot of those chances we had yesterday, if we'd just taken two of them early ones, we would have been 2-0 up with 20 minutes gone. And that's a much more relaxed day. It's an easier day. You can get a few lads on and off earlier. But I'll take that because I love those kind of wins. They're great to watch. They're brilliant. But yeah, just maybe not every week, lads. It doesn't have to be, high drama every week. Just like Nottingham Forest. Let's have that 2-0 at halftime, please. Do you get what I'm saying? Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's brilliant, but it's not always good for the heart. It's not good for the heart.
I know what you mean. What's funny? I was going to say, what's funny about it all is that we have had some of those games. It's not like, I guess a lot of times people, the ones that kind of hurt the most, or the ones that are kind of most stressful, at least, as well, are the ones that you remember the most, sometimes. And we've had those games. We've had some games where we've comfortably controlled the games and have somewhat just gone from start to finish and been able to relax somewhat into that second half. But there was a statistic out there that really pinned my interest. And 22 games we've won from losing positions, right? So we're down and ended up winning, or getting points at least, from losing positions 22 times. It's a lot. But what's interesting is it's a narrative for us. I get that. But who? The second place team? Manchester City with 19. Which is surprising.
Yeah.
But the fact that Manchester City is second on that list, I was like, it's one of those things where sometimes I get our anxieties, but sometimes it's like, why is it a like doom and gloom narrative for us? But yet when you look at reality and you see City there, why is it not a doom and gloom reality for them? Is it, those things kind of get to me. I know or what it is that makes the difference between our two teams. Maybe the history, maybe the pure knowledge of knowing, like, how excuse me, some of history have panned out for the both of our teams. But it's just interesting. This year, 22 times from behind, we've gotten the result from our games. 19 times City. What do you say about that kind of statistic?
Yeah, it's one for, again, it's Liverpool fans are going to look at us and they see us going behind in games and just go, that's not good, basically. With City wouldn't normally expect that from them at all. Mm-hmm. They haven't been keeping clean sheets. I was saying that earlier on during the year, that they're winning games, but they're very rarely keeping clean sheets. So obviously a lot of those goals, if you'd asked me off the top of my head, I would have said they had a habit of leaving in goals when they were 3-0 up or 4-0 up and there was 5 minutes left. They'd have a habit of leaving in a goal. But obviously, by the looks of it, their habit or their want this season is to maybe slip one early and let an early one go in and then come back and dominate the game, but not be quite switched on at the start. Mm-hmm. That's what that tells me about City, is that, again, with all these changes that the team's going through, different players, John Stone's constantly injured, and he's a part of what they do system-wise. So it seems to me like they're not always switched on at the start. Again, statistics, if you know how to use them properly, you can frame them to say anything you want. But to me, just on that one statistic alone, like, that would just say to me that suggests lack of concentration. Whereas with us, it's just seen as a flaw. It's seen as a weakness. It's seen as that we take a long, long time to get going in games, or sometimes we need to kick up the arse to get going in games. So it's just so it's just how many times can you pick yourself up off the canvas kind of thing. It's great that you can do it, but again, it's not the ideal place to be. Sometimes you just want to go out and just win the race and just, you don't always need to be winning it in the last 50 meters. You can, and I know it hasn't always been like that, but I just kind of the overriding sense, like the Villa game, the Brentford games we were very comfortable in from start to finish. So it shows the resilience. But if you ask Klopp, is it a statistic that he likes? Is it a thing that he likes? He'll tell you, no, I don't want to have to keep doing that. Any coach would rather be 2 or 3-0 up, get their goals early and put the game to bed early and all of that. But it makes for great entertainment. It makes for great drama. And it makes for games like yesterday where, it's just sort of, it's as bad as we can be and as good as we can be in the same game, in the same scenario. Because we weren't awful, but we were pretty bad that first half. We were, we were pretty poor. And then the second half, we lighted up again.
Yeah. I'm going to allow JK to join us on this broadcast here. Bring JK in. How's it going, JK? How are you?
I'm good, bro. I'm good. I hope you and Brian are cool.
Hey, JK.
Alles good. Everything. I'm speaking German to you. Everything good, yeah, guys.
Alles gut.
Alles good. 3 points.
Alles gut. Yeah, there you go. Das.
3 points. Nah, I'm just happy with the result yesterday, boys.
Yeah.
Spot on. We're going to get into the ratings, guys. I get that. I'm looking at the chat, at least. I'm looking at a lot of people already commenting on how Klopp's definitely going to be. He's the manager of the match, I guess. Yesterday. and a lot of like the tale of two halves. Sometimes it gets to us all, but I mean, realistically, it was really just that a tale of like us getting together, a concerted effort. Okay, here's another thing. All right, let me concerted effort. Let me segue into this. One of the things yesterday. Now, I know a lot of people we're going to get to a particular player. I'm sure we'll see some of the comments, but let's just deal with some of these comments now, so we can nip this in the bud.
This thing made it a bit rough, John. Yeah.
Get to some of these basic, get the elephant out of the room or something, or acknowledge the elephant in the room. Diaz did not do well with finishing his chances yesterday. 3 big chances missed. Very, very. That's a big number. It's something that you can't overlook in the sense of, yes, you want him finishing a chance and this and that. The question I wanted to ask, or the thing I wanted to say, is this: why does this? What's the word I'm looking for? Why is this double? Why are there 2 standards for our team? And that Nunez goes out there, misses shots, but performs well enough that the narrative of, oh, he's out there performing well, he's out there creating chances, he's creating chaos, he's creating all these different little things, such and such, Why is that narrative okay for Nunez as a defense? But if you try to utilize that narrative for Diaz, it's not acceptable. Or do you think that narrative doesn't exist really, and I'm maybe just too wrapped up in the the YouTube matrix of listening to people on the internet. JK, JK, do you have something to say about that?
Yeah, for me, I just feel, bro, I think with Diaz, because he hasn't consistently performed on a regular basis for a long time, I think people are ready to jump on him. For me, I tell you the truth, ever since what happened to him off the field and stuff, I'm just happy he's back and playing and he's looking better. We can't expect more from him. He's got 2 goals. He scored at the weekend, scored now. He's getting involved. He's getting hot again, So for me, people talk, if fans got nothing to do, they're going to talk about that, bro. For me, just support the players. They want to win. Like yesterday, him and Gakpo were given the job to take over Salah, Jota, and Darwin. And I think they did okay. So what's the moaning about?
How about you, Brian?
I don't want to touch it with a barge pole, but I will. You are, you are too wrapped up in the matrix of what people are saying. So you are very, very kind of sensitive towards a lot of that. But that's your thing, man. That's you. But I can tell you why there's a different standard, and also, a lot of people here, I mean, yourself included, myself included, have said all those things about Darwin, that he tries hard and he does all those things. But the reason why there's a different standard for Nunez is because there's a huge cadre of people out there who, before he had even kicked the ball for us, or before this season had started, were saying that he's basically going to score 30 goals a season. He's going to score 35 goals a season. He's absolutely amazing. He's the best thing since sliced bread. He's my guy. He's my avatar. He's my Darwin. You've got all those people out there that before a goal had even been scored or a ball had been kicked, even 2 games into the season when he was still sitting on the bench and he hadn't started the game, he's going to score 30 goals this season. That's all those people out there were saying that. And we're going totally overboard on Darwin before he even had a chance to do anything. Right? So now they have to back up what they said before. They have to back up all of that. That's why those people won't judge Darwin as harshly as they'll judge Diaz, because they never said Diaz is going to do all that stuff. They have to back their horse. They've been backing it from day one, totally overboard a lot of the time. People were just saying, come on, chill, give the guy a chance, be realistic. We all love him, we all want him to do well, but stop with the Ballon d'Or 40 goal a season type stuff. So that's why those people who said all that about Darwin, they never said it about Nunes or never said it about Diaz. So it's much easier to go and criticize Diaz. Whereas if they were to say that about Nunes, they'd be contradicting everything they just said a week ago.
Yeah.
That's where it comes from, in my opinion. That's where it comes from, in my opinion. So yeah, Diaz is easier to criticize because they never had Diaz pajamas, whereas they have Darwin pajamas.
Okay, I understand what you're saying, but for me, the reason why I do have to like one of the reasons. There's other reasons, but there's one of the main reasons though is that it seems slightly hypocritical to say those things, even if you are wearing the pajamas, as you said. I like that sense or that image there. But even if you are wearing the pajamas, you still have to say to yourself, if you're holding that narrative for one player, why don't you hold it for another? I mean, you don't want to be hypocritical.
Football fans are hypocrites. That's part. I'm a hypocrite. That's part of being football. You kind of have to be a hypocrite half the time. You just are. It comes with the territory of football fans will always end up being hypocrites because it'll be one thing for one and something for something else. You show me a football fan that's never been hypocritical about something, I'll show you someone who isn't a football fan. It's the same with bias. It's the same with that. It just comes with, you can be outright overbearingly hypocritical, or just along the way, you're always going to be hypocritical. You're always going to contradict yourself. You're always going to be wrong. But yeah, if you've got your favorites, you've got your favorites, and they won't apply those standards across the board. But the way I'll say it is, forget your names, forget your faces, right? Forget all that. If I'm coming down from Mars, right? So there's no agendas, right? I just come down from Mars. I know what football is, but I know there was a team in red and there was a team in whatever color Luton wore, right? I'm going to say whoever was wearing red number 7 should have scored twice in the first half. So there's your no agenda. Don't know it's even called Liverpool. The guy that wore number 7 should have scored. Now that's just factual, right? Everybody can agree with that. At least one of those good chances. He should have put one away. And so, oh right, what's his name? Luis Diaz. Oh right, he plays for Colombia. Okay, great. Yeah, should have scored. No agendas, no predetermined bias, nothing. Anybody can say any different. Well, okay. But we should all be able to sit here and, without all the noise, say, yeah, Diaz, man, should have had a couple there, at least one. 3 big chances was rough because that third one, the one I'm guessing they had down as the third one was kind of difficult. But I would have thought they would have had him down for 2 big chances minimum. I can see up to have him for 3. But I don't know what JK thinks. I think he should have scored at least 1. And then we're not having
one. This is what Honesty has to say. He says, apart from his last season with Porto, Diaz has never been a great goal scorer. Which is the truth. He has not. He is really, really. I mean, like the kind of output that we're getting from him is very similar to the output he was getting at Porto.
But this is what I'm talking about.
I am like very confused as to why people are on some like next level for Diaz with the criticism for him is very, very confusing to me. I'm like,
this is what I'm saying. Forget about what he's done before. Forget about this. Just in those individual moments yesterday, he should have put 1 away. He should have put 2 away, maybe. He's not known saying he's a natural goal scorer, so therefore he should have scored. It's just like, and then we see the way he finished the other one.
Oh,
let's not go overboard. Let's just call it what he is. He should have put one of those big chances away and move on. It's not an agenda. But I get what you're saying. There will be other people out there that like, that's a great one to go off on. That's a really good one to go on a rant about. Diaz missing a load of big chances. That's a really good one to go on a rant about. And I can see why, if that same person the previous week is saying, don't have a go at Darwin for finishing chances, he works really hard. If you see that and then you see that, okay, I get it. I get why that would really kind of get under your skin, because maybe you should have some self-awareness and not go like too far in one way and then just because you lose credibility. You lose credibility.
Yeah, I mean, like, I can understand this. Drunk Vigo says people love the man bun, and it's and that it's the man bun bias. I don't I don't know how much that factors into it or not.
Seems to be a bit of a thing.
I mean, like, people are very cognitive of people's hairstyles on the pitch. I will admit that. I know all the criticism Darwin got when he changed it to the braids, and then, like, and I know people are on Trent about his hairstyles and everything else. But yeah, it's an interesting one. We've got some good comments that are being actually offered from our comments here as well. Like Revenite was saying how people were, really critical of him long before he even stepped on the pitch, basically, and that it goes both ways. Honesty saying this, he says, oh, and this is true, very, very true. Can I say this?
Revenite there answering the question. It wasn't fucking us. Come on, man. Sorry, Revenite answering the question. It wasn't that. That's not what I said. So,
oh no.
Every time I try and say something, he comes back at me with Darwin does this, Darwin does that. Darwin does it. I mean, I'm not talking about it, man. I'm not. How many times can I praise Darwin before people are going to stop coming back and saying, "But Darwin does this, Brian." All the people that hate him, Brian. Yeah, come on, move on.
Well, that's part of what we're talking about. Like, as in, look, I know I do the defense league. I know I go out and do my part of, like, defending some of these players' honor or whatever you want to call it, but I get it. I get it. I was going to say, Honesty says this. Honesty says also the same for Hakpo. People are like, he doesn't do anything, but he scores is like he is still crap. But when Diego does the same, is what a baller, double standards. I agree. Like, because what's very interesting about it is, albeit Cody since he had that injury in the Spurs match, right? That's where he got the injury, I'm pretty sure, right? Since he got that injury in the Spurs match, Cody's been trying to find his footing again. He's been trying to find that consistent form and trying to find a place on this team that is his more natural position. Because I know he's been played out of position quite a bit this season. And one thing I've noticed about Cody's interactions with the social media bubble here is that it's very similar in that when Nunez was struggling a little bit, and trying to find, especially on that little hiatus of goals, but when he was trying to find his shooting boots and trying to get, his accuracy, more precision type of approaches, Cody was bagging goals for us. Cody was really, really, really doing well, and was, there were people talking about how he's like, how he could be the next Bobby. I know that's dangerous talk. I get that. I'm not saying he's the next Bobby, but, like, there are people out there that were saying how he could be a really great false nine for us, and how he's this, how he's that, and everything else, because he was scoring. He had a little bit of all strikers go through their slumps or through their hiatuses. But especially when he got that injury, you saw a little bit of a more difficult road for him to kind of get his footing back. But it's, like, very similar to where, like, I was saying, and what I've been saying consistently about Cody is that I recognize the hard work. I recognize the fact that he's not giving up and getting too wrapped up in his head, And there were moments and times when you can see he's searching a little bit too much for the goal, to the point where he's not getting off the shots that are really quality shots, but still the same. It's like the criticism that's peppered out there. We all have our biases, but sometimes it can be a difficult forum to be a part of when you hear some of the takes that you do. JK, do you have an opinion on that?
It just makes me laugh the way some fans can argue about their favorite players. At the end of the day, I don't really care who scores, as long as one of the guys scores. Right. Gakpo is doing his job now. In the last 2 games without Gakpo, would we have won? You don't know. He's put a shift in. Support the players. No need to argue between, like, who's better, this, that, and the other. For me, I want Darwin is actually my favorite Liverpool attacker. You wouldn't know that, though, because I don't really go on about it. But for me, I support the lad. I won't really criticize him, but for me, I think positivity is better for the lad than being negative about him 24/7s. And I think outside fans get more involved in them type of debates. But all in all, we support Liverpool first. Yeah, then you have your favourite players, no doubt. I understand that. But all in all, we support Liverpool first. We haven't really got time to have our favourite players and having arguments about, oh, he should be playing and he should be playing. As you've seen, we've needed all 5 attackers this season.
We needed
Topic finished.
All 5 attackers, all 5 or whatever, however many numbers there are for every position. We pretty much have exhausted the reserves on players that we definitely need.
That's true.
But yeah, those are some of the things I definitely wanted to get through. I see now that we have our Peter Croix fan in the house again. Big up to Nature Boy. Big up to Nature Boy in the house. I see you.
He's got a new name for the conversation tonight. It seems to have moved on.
Oh, has he? Oh, he's got a new name. It's not. Has Peter Cruz finally been subsided? Oh,
no, I think Chris must have got the job, so he needs a new. He's got a new CEO lined up for us now. Billy Hogan's gone. Apparently, it's some guy Tapovich. So Pyers has always got his finger on the pulse of what's happening at Liverpool.
Pyers.
Hulk Hogan, sure. Not Billy Hogan. Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, right. Hulk Hogan. Yeah.
Hulk Hogan's going to come in.
Big up to Realism, Jarrett.
Yeah.
I see you, brother. I see you. Drunk Vigo in the house. Nature Boy, Revenite. Like I said,
the shout for Gakpo, though. The shout for Gakpo. Sorry, just the shout for Gakpo is like everybody says. I always ask people what his best position is. Some people say number 9. Some people say left wing. But everybody can agree on the same thing. He hasn't nailed down a spot in this team yet. There isn't a Cody Gakpo spot. He's always next cab off the rank for so many positions. I'd be shocked if he's played one position 3 games in a row. I'd be stunned if he's played the same position 3 games in a row.
Oh, I would be too.
And before anyone, I mean, I'm not in the mood, as you can tell tonight. So before anyone comes in with, oh, but all our players change positions up front. Yeah, just you know what I mean. You know what I mean. So I think it's just a situation where he's not first choice in any of the positions, and he's yet to make that Cody Gakpo position his own. And until that happens, like Savage said there earlier on, he's still in impress mode. He's still in I need to impress, I need to show this guy you can't drop me mode, until he gets to that point where it's like, no, I'm cool, I'm good. I know what my role is. I know what my minutes are going to be. You know, until that happens. But again, this is the exciting bit, because some of this would be quite difficult and just a little bit difficult if Klopp was staying, because it's so harder to fit pieces. But the fact that the new manager is coming in opens up a whole new clean sheet or a clean slate for everybody.
Right,
so that's why I'm always not. That's why I'm not as worried as I would be about a certain player like Gakpo not being able to keep a spot or something like whatever. But now the new manager is coming in, he could be our new number 9. You know, it could be Darwin off the left and in some kind of, or him up. Yeah, it could be, God knows what it could be. Who knows? But that's why I think he's still got plenty of time to do it. Like, I love him. Remember we were talking about him for the game. I had him down for scoring a brace. Then I love him up for. I like him as a number 9. I really like him as a number 9. He was a little bit quiet.
You're very high on him as well. I know.
He's one of our best finishers.
I think he's one of possibly one of our better, if not best, clinical strikers. You know,
he can find the bottom corner. He can find the bottom corner as well as probably anyone. Jota's up there with him.
Yeah. And you said 4-1, yeah, Brian? I remember.
I think Brian said 3-0. I think he said 3-0.
No, I went with a 3-1 on a different stream, but on our stream I went 4-1. But that's me, I flip flop.
So. Oh, you went 4-1 on our stream? Oh, that's cool. That's real cool. Good call. 3-1 is so last year, man. 4-1 is the new black, right?
Savage has been hacked. Savage's account has been hacked.
Oh yeah, right. Yes, Nature Boy says Cody plays like he is on a once in a lifetime trial. When he calms down and composes himself, he's really good. He's a really good player and a great finisher. And he says big up to the panel. Let me see what the comment was that makes him get hacked. I'll read his hacked comment, I guess. It says his miss is in great. I will not read that one out loud.
There you go. I think Ends might have access to Savage's YouTube there. So
I know. I'm not reading that one. Anyways, yeah, I'm happy we got the W. I think I know. I was nearly canceled on that one. That was funny. Luckily, I tried to read it a little bit before I end up. I just don't just read it like a prompter sometimes. What I was gonna say is the bottom line is we got the win, we got the W. The bottom line is Anfield turned up, despite having some moments, even like it's funny. I know how Klopp gets referenced as a father figure out there for a lot of the players sometimes. At times I would even go as far as he's a little bit of a father figure to Anfield in general, considering he turned around and during the game was pretty animate about one of the exchanges. I think it was when Harvey Elliott gave a pass to Diaz, but the pass was a little bit too much on the pass or something, and he turned around to the crowd and was just he was animate about it, because I didn't at first I thought he was like yelling at at a ref or something, or yeah.
He doesn't like it when the crowd boos something. If one of the boys tries something and it doesn't come off, and the crowd boo it rather than kind of doing the unlucky son, kind of cheer, he doesn't like that. That's one thing that really, really seems to get on his goat, is that kind of petty booing of someone just trying something. It wasn't really him kind of turning around and saying, come on, G up, sing more, support the boys. That was kind of like, fuck off. No, come on. Don't be giving me that crap.
Yeah.
Don't be booing the boys. They're trying to win this. That seems to get at him a little bit. And yeah, why not? Why not? You want that synergy. You want that energy, man. It doesn't always have to be positive energy. It doesn't always have. You want some a little bit of conflict to kind of go, oh, okay. You think we're not supporting the team? Right here, we'll show you. This is how we support the team. And then he can turn and go, yes, that's what I want. That's what I want. Give me what I want. Bit of positive conflict,
Yeah, totally.
That's how I see it anyway.
No, and I'm in agreement with that. I mean, you can see that. I think he somewhat is I've mentioned on other streams, but for me, I've always been about I've told you about my days as an agent and everything, and sometimes with some of the players, I remember sometimes I'd go to either the practice sessions that they would have, or even to the games and such, and it's one of those things where I rather applaud the effort than bemoan the result. You feel what I'm saying? So I'd rather encourage more of the effort to continue pushing to get the result that you're searching for, as opposed to bemoan not getting the result, because it tends to stay. Then that memory tends to stay in your mind. And there are those out there that have that Mamba mentality, that's often referenced, the Kobe Bryant kind of concept. And there's those that can just brush it off and continue to go on. And then there's those that just kind of wallow in that moment, and they have to understand the fact that you've got to get out of that. If anything, and whatever you can do to help push or lead that person into the right direction, I always see that's a better pathway. But some others think of it as tough love. Others call themselves doing it because they're just angry with what it is. It is what it is. That's just my personal takes on that. But still all the same, let's I want to definitely get into these ratings because that's like always the fun part of the show, but also it's something that it's something that I know a lot of us want to see and want to be a part of because there were some. It's almost to the point where I don't even want to rate the first half. I wanted to say, can we just rate the second half? Is that possible,
No.
Brian and JK? Is that
No.
Can we just go by those pretenses? Can we almost like forget about the first half?
No, we have to do it as a whole, bro. Have to do it as a whole. No.
The whole one, the whole thing has to get there. All right. Okay, so let's do this then. Let's just break off the seal. Let's go with a young man, one of Brian's countrymen, and I know Nilante getting me there.
He's only an hour
big up to
old.
Nilante, by the way. Big up. Yeah. I was gonna say, what would you have given Kelleher? The man he nearly had a clean sheet, but once again, this is something I mentioned on a couple of different streams earlier too, yesterday at least, and that is, I get that he let up a goal, but that goal wasn't necessarily completely his fault. I mean, it was like a deflection. He got a piece of the shot. It just so happens his deflection ended up dropping the ball into the perfect place for the offensive guy to just really put it in the back of the net. Similar to Brentford, that's why I'm mentioning this that way at least. What were you saying about what above average? What's your rating on that, Brian? What's your rating on your countryman?
On me first.
In our fellow red.
Yeah, that goal. There was Endo, Kwanzaa, and one other player. I can't remember who it was. All dropped the ball on that one. Endo should have had it first. Then Kwanzaa should have stopped it. Then somebody else had a chance to stop it. Mm-hmm. Then it got to it got to Kelleher, but there was three other people that could have influenced that. So by the time it gets to him, exactly, collective failure by the whole defense on that one, and then a bit of bad luck. Mm-hmm. So I'm kind of reluctant to give him an above average performance because he didn't do anything else. But yeah, I'll give him a 7. I'm not going to call it average, but I'm giving it 7.5. So you'll have to go there for me. But that goal was not his fault. Like,
too. Yeah, the goal. Go ahead, finish.
No, yeah, it's just I'm reluctant to put it on him because too easy. It's too easy to put on him.
Okay. JK, because and let me say this too. Chat, please. I see your I'm going to bring up your scores for each player. But if you guys want to tell us why you're giving him an 8 or 7 or whatever the rating is, please do tell us because I'll definitely include that so that we can have dialogue go that direction. But JK, go ahead. What was your ratings?
Yeah. I think all in all, Kelleher, he's actually improved. Like last 2 games, I feel like yesterday I was more confident with him because he went through a phase where he would let goals in that were pretty close to him. I think yesterday with that deflection, what went to the guy and he scored. I don't know. Could he made himself bigger? Could he just put his hands in front of his legs? Whatever. So we don't really know. But I just want him to be cool for Sunday. So for me, I just give him an average. But I want a clean sheet on Sunday. That would be good for him because he's got a few games now.
I would like to. Oh, that'd be so good for him. That'd be so good. Yeah. Get a clean sheet in a cup final. That would be very, very uplifting for sure.
He did win and lost too, both against the same team.
Yeah, that's certainly true.
So he literally has a history of keeping clean sheets in cup finals against Chelsea. So maybe he's the lucky talisman on that one. But yeah, again, I don't want us going to winning a penalty shootout for us and keeping a clean sheet. We don't need him to be Royal Rovers again on Sunday. A clean sheet, 3-0.
Agreed. So, JK, what was your score for him? Because the chat has him at an 8, pretty much.
I'll give him a 7.
What was you're gonna have 7, 2 sevens? Oh wow, you're gonna make me be the deciding factor here.
Unless someone else comes in there with a shout.
Yeah, I mean the 8s are definitely what the chat's giving them. I'm gonna give him something to work for. I'll put him at average as well. I'll put him at average for now, and then we'll say, it'll be that much more of a breath of fresh air once he makes that happen for him in that cup final. Hashim says, excuse me, he could have done better with the goal. He was beaten near post. That's true. Which as a keeper you shouldn't be beaten. But second half he came out much better. Yeah, and he only had to make 2 saves in the second half. He wasn't like he was being peppered with shots or something. 7.5. Okay, from Keep It Real. Okay, I got you. You guys are going to try to make me put half points in here. I got you. It's all good. All right, let's move on then to the young man that has everyone smiling pretty much. The young man that has some questioning if Trent even has a place in that back line. But Connor Bradley, how are you feeling about Connor Bradley's play yesterday? Was very, very involved in some of the some of the offensive attributes that we had going on. Was involved remotely in the goal that was scored on us. It was kind of he kind of messed up in his positioning a little bit. But it wasn't solely his fault. It was a collective error, as everyone said, as Drunk Vigo had mentioned earlier. I agree with that. I'm just saying that Connor Bradley was a part of that collective error, considering he was on his side of the pitch anyway. But Connor Bradley, how are we feeling about Connor Bradley? JK, you want to go first this time?
Okay, bro. I think he was the sort of guy who sort of kicked off the second half. That little burst of energy he showed on the pitch, he sort of got us going in that second half. So because of that, I just give him a 7. I normally give the defenders a 7 when they get a clean sheet, or an 8, depends on how good they played. But I just think that ignition he put into the second half sort of kicked. We needed that. I think it was important, so I'll give him a 7.
Brian, because I see the chat's chiming in. The chat showing real love for him.
Yeah, not his.
How are you feeling, about Bradley yesterday, Brian?
Not like a kind of super explosive the way he was in some of the other games, because he was kind of looking like, he was looking like a winger, and obviously you can't expect that every game. So he played a slightly quieter game than those. Against Luton, I kind of backed him. Like, I brought him into my fantasy football team. Like, I kind of backed him to have some good attacking turns in those games. But it was more of a standard game, but kind of thing you'd rather just see him do every week. Like, I can't really fault him. But not, again, am I asking too much considering what he did? You can't expect him to score an assist every game. So, but I can't say he was above average. No, I'm going to give him a 7. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. You can hear it here. You can't say that the panel that I have put together here is giving any freebies out there today. Let me say that right now.
High standard.
Keep it real. Oh yeah, no doubt. I'm not picking any fights with that. Keep it real says. Oh, okay. Keep it real says 8 for Bradley was brilliant. Shim says the kid is getting better every day for him. He is a 8.5. Wow, high rating. He was everywhere on the pitch. Let's keep it real. Nalante says, let me make sure I get his rating here. He says 9, apart from one mistake, robust up and down the line. He's our number 1 right back. Drunk Vigo says he would give him an 8. Honesty, says he would give him a 7.5. Okay. Okay, and Philip is just going to listen to. Philip says he's just listening to our ratings and reading the chats as he couldn't watch the game. Hey, you know what? If you're into it, like into games like myself, like you'll suffer, I guess you could say, somewhat through that first half of the frustrations, you know. But trust me, that second half it's the second half is where it's at for sure in that game. I mean, and it was from the very start in that second half as well.
They got rockets
Yolante says at 12. He says he knows how they were rockets at halftime. Yeah.
Oh, Klopp tore into them, man.
Brian, go ahead. You can say something.
Oh, yeah. He was sucking them all up, you know, like he did against Brentford when they won. Yeah. He was doing that.
Yeah.
You can guarantee.
Maybe that's why he's tired.
Yeah, no, Klopp was not having that.
Maybe that's one of the reasons why he's tired. I mean, like he's got to do it 22 times or something this season, you know, or whatever it is, whatever the number
Even
is.
Even the subs
get tired of man now. I can give you that.
No, but at halftime he needed to say something to him. I just think
man.
He must have said something to him because every second halftime chit chat he has with him.
So Brian had him at a 7.
Yeah, he's getting that delay on yours as well, Joe.
Yeah. Oh, I know. That halftime chit chat was saying it's a chit chat. It's being polite. How about that? But 7. Brian, you had him at a 7. JK, you had him at a 7 too, right?
Yep.
But the chat had him at all 8s and 9s.
Yeah, 8.5, 9 was all.
I'll put him in. Yeah, I'll put him in that 8, but I definitely not going to have him at the top of it. He won't be at the top of the class. He'll be definitely somewhere in the middle, if not at the back of the class. But I'll put him at the 8. He was like borderline 7, if not 8, in my opinion too. I agree with that. Let's move on then to another young youth academy player that isn't looked at as a youth academy player, considering he's been pretty much playing with the senior squad pretty much from the very beginning, not from the exact very start of it, but like pretty much from the very beginning. And that is someone that I like to say makes me happy. Hopefully makes you happy. And that's why I call him Happy Kwanzaa. And how are you feeling about Kwanzaa, Brian? What was your rating on Kwanzaa?
Yeah, it's like you say. I think it's basically
happy.
Yeah, it's basically since Matip had his little his unfortunate little knee affair. He's been pretty much first team squad since then.
Yeah.
So that is basically I can't remember exactly when Matip dropped out, but most of the season. Yeah, that's why even Klopp mentioned it. I mentioned it. I think the day before a press conference, we were all talking about it. We did a show about something similar, and Klopp said the same thing as we all. And like you said tonight, we spoke about all the young players, and they were like, "Oh yeah, and Kwanzaa, obviously." But it's like in the space of a couple of months, people's perception of what he is definitely changed. That they don't include him in that list of promising young players anymore because he's not promising anymore. He's in the first team squad. He's playing Premier League games.
Yeah.
So it's someone that, like I keep saying, he has that, and I haven't found the right words to say it properly because I know it's kind of offend people. But he just seems like that kid that was a big brother in a family where he had loads of little brothers and sisters and has spent his whole life just growing up looking after people and managing people, like you know, that kind of like mature beyond their years kind of thing. Like the kid that had to grow up fast because he plays like he's 27.
Yeah,
he looks like
you forget how young he is by his play, despite his. You forget how young he is. It's so easy to forget how young he is because he's playing at such an advanced age, such an advanced knowledge of the game, or just air, the air that he has, and comfortability. I agree with that completely. At least that's what I think that you're saying. At least.
Yeah, absolutely. The fact that he just doesn't look like he looks like he's 20. He looks like he's been playing men's football for about 7 or 8 years at a very high level. He doesn't get flustered. He's used to having to be mature and keep his head. He's not going to get himself sent off. Now watch him get himself sent off for something stupid. But he's not. He's got that Van Dyke kind of calmness about him that you can't really learn.
Yes.
You can't teach. You kind of have it in your blood, in your veins. And again, it's the kind of lad who's just going to be. I mean, if I did it and I went there, I'd be saying, "My God, that's like the best I've ever played." But he's going to go out there and play center half for Liverpool in a game where, because as a game he doesn't become a standout player, but he has a quietly excellent game all the time. Whereas if you were to watch him and his coach would say, but you just get lost in the kind of, I don't know, the sea of red. It's hard to say, oh, he was top tier, he was above average, because to do what he is doing, to be where he is above average. Already he's above average. Did he make a mistake yesterday? I think he did on that goal.
He did.
He did. The best defenders who've ever played the game made dozens of mistakes. So it's all about mistakes. What's the most important thing about mistakes? It's not making them, it's how you learn from them. So will he get done like that again? Will he get lazy like that again? Will he realize, this happened last time? So I just think he's on an upward curve all the time. But to get back to yesterday, I put him on the same as the two lads already, a 7.5. But like I'd like to just reiterate that what he's doing isn't normal, is above average. If that makes sense.
No, it makes total sense. Total sense. Philip says he likes the fact that Kwanzaa and Bradley are saying by performances they deserve the first choice players. Saying to the first choice players, I'm after your spot. We all know what Kwanzaa said about matchup going out.
Yeah.
We all know about what Bradley has said about the fact when Trent went out, about the opportunity at hand, and the way that they're looking at it is, it's a shame that he has that. They don't want to see him get injured. It's a shame that he is injured, but the fact is he is injured, and now this is my opportunity to make the most of it. And rather than see themselves as a placeholder, they're trying to say, I want to try to make myself solidified in this role if I can. And that's a great mentality to have. Definitely.
The only way to get the best out of our players is to have top quality competition nipping at their heels. Because the second there's no competition for your role, unless you're a special player like Salah, who is just driven no matter what, your performances will drop off a little bit if all you basically have to do is show up fit and you're starting. You lose that edge. When there's some guy there beside you in the dressing room and you're looking at him going, that boy's bloody good. I mean, he's really, really good and he wants my place. I got to go out there and perform tonight. Whereas if you're sitting there in the dressing room and just waiting for someone to hand you your shirt because you just assume you're starting. You all know how that works.
So, what's the rating you're giving them?
Oh, I was with him at a 7. I've given them all 7.5 so far. So they're high average.
Okay. High average. Okay. JK, what is your rating for Kwanzaa?
I'm going to give him a 7.
I know Philip doesn't didn't watch games, so I'm not expecting Philip to do it. But please, chat if you can. Tell me what you guys think as well. Tell me your rating. We're on Kwanzaa right now. But go ahead, JK.
I think Brian knocked the nail on the head about everything what he said about Kwanzaa. Exactly. I agree with that. So I'm going to give him a 7. He's just a good player, isn't he? He's just a good top player. Good prospect, man.
JK, quick.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think he? I think he gets into the England squad. Do you think he starts for England anytime soon?
Well, if Maguire does, he should.
I don't. Yeah, because they've got some dodgy. I know they've got a Euros coming up, so you probably won't get it. But I think Kwanzaa should be in an England, close to an England squad, close to a full call up.
Yeah, I think
He
so as
played.
well.
He probably
I hope
would.
he doesn't. To be honest with you, the only
Well,
reason why I hope none of our players do though. At times, unless they
like I think,
play for my home nation, of course. But I'm just saying because I just don't want to see any more injuries or any more unfortunate tired players or something. But I understand. But that's just me being selfish.
is he 100%
You will have
English?
yeah.
Is he 100% English? Do we know this? He's
Yes.
Scouse, right?
Yeah.
Kwanzaa's Scout, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Warrington, I think he was born. Yeah.
Like if he was anything but English, French, maybe Spain, and the big South American boys, if he was any other country, Belgium, kind of Holland, he would have gotten game. He would have gotten the cap by now. That's how good he is.
Mm-hmm. He
Yeah,
doesn't have dual citizenship. He's just straight English. So that's at least what I see
yeah,
there. So
yeah.
it's not the
Yeah.
case
Oh,
where he could decide, oh well, I'm not going to get an England call up. I'll go to this country for the call up or something.
Oh, they'll find a grandmother. They'll find it because the only other Kwanzaa that I can think of. Oh, sorry, no, that wasn't Kwanzaa. That was Kwashi. Sorry, yeah. Scrap that.
Okay.
yeah, Quasi for QPI, yeah?
Yeah, and he qualified for Scotland, I think. Nigel Kwashi.
Yeah.
He ended up qualifying for Scotland, and he was African descent as well. But there'll be a grandmother in there somewhere, man. Don't worry, there'll be a grandmother in there
The big
somewhere.
grandmother. Yeah.
Yeah, no, he'll qualify for one of his grandparents, like the country there of his origin, or
Mm-hmm.
like his mother's dad. His mother could be from Ireland or Scotland or Wales. Easily, they'll find one if they think he can be capped. There'll be a country out there that will be on the phone with him. They'll be going through the record.
Thing is, with the left back situation, the left back situation for England, Gomez could play left back for England because, like Luke Shaw, he's injured now until probably the end of the season. You got the guy from Chelsea. I think he's the only one really left. I think Gomez it would be, yeah. Oh yeah.
Has Southgate ever picked Gomez? I don't think he likes Gomez. Has he?
Wasn't Southgate the coach when he got injured? On call
Was he in the squad then? Because I always just seem to think it Gomez never played for England. Like he's never started for England regularly.
I don't know if he never played. Yeah, I'm not saying he played. I'm just saying he got the call up at least or something. And because I remember he got injured in practice or something like that, right?
He seems to be one of those guys that got overlooked. Yeah, and then he went there and got injured. You're right. Yeah, you're right. He got injured with England.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Annie. Yeah. So that sideways off a bit. So who's up next? Oh.
So all right. Well, let's get back on track and just bring it back to our captain, who said, "Hey, you know what, Captain? Oh, Captain."
Boom.
Virgil van Dijk. Virgil van Dijk. I think I know where I'm putting Virgil van Dijk. He's top tier for me. So I'll just rip that. I'll just take away that surprise. Captain's performance yesterday. What were you guys thinking? JK, you want to go first on this one?
For me, Virgil's face just before the corner showed me he was going to score. So I'm going to give him an 8 for yesterday.
Yeah. Oh, you're going to give him an 8? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
He showed some fight.
Hey, our panel is being very tough today. Very tough. No Reds bias here today. Go ahead, Brian. Keeping it real, yeah.
Yeah, scoring that goal, and do you remember I was talking about it, how he loves to score perfect headers?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
From corners, and I said it about the other one, any striker is going to be proud of that header. That's not your classic centre half going into the mixer and getting a touch on it. That's him dropping back and ever so slightly criminally unmarked, if you ask me. But anyway, that's another story. But the way he scored that header, that's just you know, because someone asked me earlier on, I think keep it real. You saying, did I know that Kelleher used to be a striker? And yeah, I did. Like at a much lower level than he's at now. Because he's really good at football. You can see that with his feet. So when someone like him, when you're 15, 16, you're probably going to start outfield. In Ireland, I mean. And Virgil, he's a striker back in he played at a higher level as a striker. So he has such good technique. Doesn't surprise me when he does that. Never played top level football. But look at the free kick.
He was playing for Brian. He was playing striker for us yesterday.
He didn't.
Actually,
don't go. No. Don't go. Don't say he played strike for us yesterday. We all know that was game day. He stayed up front from a set piece because we were winning. He said, "I'm going to just stay up here for 2 minutes." And well, look at it. If you haven't, anybody hasn't seen, Google his or you have a look on YouTube for his free kicks. Not just one, the free kicks he scored for Celtic.
Oh yeah,
I've been saying for a long time. I'd love to see him take a few free kicks for us.
Yeah,
now obviously so he's got brilliant technique on heading, shooting, half volley in the box. Again, I'm with JK. I'd be with an 8.5 because he's Virgil. The top tier for Virgil is just going out, keeping an Ibrahimovic quiet for 90 minutes kind of thing.
Okay.
He has standards. So I'm with JK in the 8.5. So he's in the above average.
I got you. Okay. JK's got to go. He's got another previous commitment today. So I wanted to say thank you for JK for joining us for at least taking care of a couple of the players here.
Great being on, bro. Should I tell you my man of the match before I leave?
Yeah, cool, awesome.
I would say McAllister.
McAllister. Okay, I got it noted. McAllister. I'm going to write it down here. McAllister is your man of the match.
Gotcha. Cool, guys.
See you later, man. Okay. I saw that message, by the way. I'll try and pop over.
Okay, sorted, bro. Okay, take care, guys.
Take care, guys. Cool. Take care.
Bye.
Take care. So yes. Drunk Vigo's got Virgil van Dijk as his man of the match candidate. So he's got him as a top tier performance along with myself. I thought that why I have him as my top tier man of the match performance is because let's just be honest with you. I think if there's anyone that message apparently resonated with in the locker room from the coach, it was Virgil. I mean, he came out with a fire under his tail, and he just we were speaking on something actually, on Frank Carlisle's show. He had I had the pleasure of sharing the panel with actually Brian as well was on the panel too, but George Scott, former Red, was on the panel, and I got to ask him a question that I wanted to ask him before, and that was what was his takes on the corner kicks, and why do you think that we have a problem with our corner kicks? How can we improve them? Asked him, a very complex question, but and we were trying to break down our takes on what we think and what we believe. And it seems like yesterday we were getting tons of corners, and that corner was so well done. And I mean so well done by not only Virgil, but by even Cody. Cody set up that pick and roll, the block, that's a basketball term, but he set up that block, that the screen that basically Virgil was able to shed off his defender. And even when another defender picked him up, and was pushing him and trying to hold on to him, he was just so far advanced in his run that there was nothing stopping him. And Macca yesterday was with his deliveries was just on point in that second half. He was just on point. That's the kind of captain's performance I like to see, and that's also a captain's. It's somewhat of a captain's calling card when you're down 1-0. You're struggling to find the back of the net, and you come out and you say, hey, I'm going to step up and make this happen, and that's what Virgil did yesterday.
Yep, no doubt. I wouldn't be surprised at all if there's one story. I'm trying to remember who it was, and it was a manager, and they were kind of talking about it. They were kind of in a similar situation to what we were in, and they were heading back into the dressing room, and they were all there ready to just lay into the lads. And before they even started, it was Christ. I can't remember, but I might say it was John Terry or whatever, right? Say it was Mourinho and John Terry, right? And Mourinho was all ready to go. He was going to destroy these boys. And before he even opened his mouth, John Terry had stood up and he did 10 minutes. And he was like, right, after that, I just sat back down. I said nothing. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if some of these half times it's Virgil
that
actually stands up, or not even like sometimes it's not who you think it is. Somehow, sometimes it really won't be. It might be Robbo. It could even be someone that, like a Trent, that people think, but
it's so soft spoken. Yeah,
like it's actually sometimes the players. One of the players, obviously, that will have the kind of the respect or whatever, will stand up and do. But if they're doing it the right way and they're saying the right things, good manager will know, hey, he's saying what I was about to say. Just let it go.
Yeah, I think often that wasn't that often the case. It was either like Milner or mostly Milner somewhat, was often the tough guy in the locker room, but Milner or even Henderson was that role for us, in yesteryear.
This is where emotional intelligence and understanding human dynamics and understanding groups comes into it, because that's got nothing to do with tactics. It's got literally nothing to do with tactics. It's got nothing to do with football. All that stuff that's being said is purely about attitude. It's about knowing who you can rip apart, who you can't, who you can, who will be. That's a jungle. That really isn't it. These guys, a lot of them, they won't be the most intelligent people in the world. We know that. They grow up in football academies. It's not their job to be intelligent. It's their, clever people, but they learn football every day and then they do a little bit of school. But their human intelligence, their emotional intelligence really needs to come out then. Like Virgil van Dijk needs to know that he can turn around and absolutely ball Mo Salah out of it. And Mo will respond in the right way. Or Dominic Szoboszlai needs to know that he can turn around and absolutely ball out Endo. And Endo will, but if
Szoboszlai, you'll get the kind of response that you need from them. They won't shrink. They'll
exactly. They if Trent turns around and just balls out Gravenberch and he knows he's having a bad time, it's like no, he'll know. Even if, say, Gravenberch was the worst player on the pitch. Like it's a simple, like some of the easiest ones are the simplest ones are the oldest ones. You go for the biggest and the best player. Like a manager will turn, like the guy who's the biggest and the best, and you can stand in front of him, call him all kinds of things, and that that player knows you're not talking to him.
Yeah.
You're actually talking to the other guys.
Yeah.
But you need the other guys to know that I'll even say it to that kind of
anyone. Anyone can get it. Anyone can get it.
Yeah, exactly. And the guy needs to be big enough to stand there and go, yeah, I need to stand here and not call the manager out because I know what the manager is doing. So he needs to be and give Virgil a wink afterwards. Or, I wasn't coming at you. I was coming at everybody through you. But they need to know that even you're not. So all that dressing room psychology is really fascinating. It's really, really fascinating.
It is.
To know, especially in the heat of the moment. Like apparently what Rafa Benitez said, people don't think of him as a motivator or a man. Apparently what Benitez did at halftime in Istanbul, like Jamie Carragher says, it still puts hairs up on the back of my neck.
Oh wow!
And you wouldn't think that about Benitez.
Yeah.
Everyone would have thought it was Gerrard in there. He said Benitez just came in and went, "Nah, this is what's happened." He said, "I look back on it. It was just unbelievable. We all went back out and went, yeah, we're winning this, lads."
Well, then, how was your this individual played left back, played right back, got a yellow card.
No
there
goal.
There was a moment or two that he wasn't exactly where he was getting beat once or a couple here or there, How were you feeling about Joe Gomez yesterday?
Great. I think Drunk might need some clarification. It was called a hypothetical scenario. Okay.
Right. It's
It's just
okay. It's okay.
we're not
Yeah.
talking about Sabazlai directly attacking Endo. We're just saying. Anyway,
Yeah.
who we talking about? Yeah,
Uh,
Joey. Joey.
Joey. Joey gets an
I
8 from Nolante. I like that. I like that.
yeah, just rock start, rock solid, typical Joey.
Mm-hmm.
Not as yeah. Again, he's the poor lad,
Do
like
you
you said.
follow him? Do you rank down because of the yellow card or?
Yeah, forget yellow cards. The poor the guy just he's been asked to do every single job, sometimes two different jobs in the same game. So it's really hard to say
Yeah.
this and that. He's always this season. I think he's a minimum 7.5 in almost every game he's played in.
Yeah.
He really
Yeah.
is. Like
You
so. I'm
couldn't.
going to give
Yeah.
him
Not many people would have thought that of Gomez last year, or expected that kind
seven.
of consistency this year at least. But he's definitely stepped up.
Yeah, I'll put him in with Kwanzaa and Keller.
Okay. Would you put him in like where in the ranking order?
Oh yeah, in the first spot in the average.
Okay.
Oh, he's been brilliant all season. He's been absolutely superb all season.
Yeah. Nolante says he has been our best defender this season, but gets discarded. Drunk Figo says Gomez has had a resurgence this season. Absolutely. And also Nolante says he should start the cup final, but he won't. I wouldn't mind seeing him start the cup final, but I agree with Nolante. I don't think we will see him start the cup final. I think we'll see. I think we'll see the people that got us there. And he was one of the people that got us there. But still, you'll see the some of the more main characters get that call up. I think Robbo will get the call up, and I think on the right side, I think it'll most likely be Bradley, since we saw Bradley get subbed out. But
I wouldn't rule it out, Pat. I wouldn't rule it straight out. Yeah, I'm kind of with you, but at the same time, I really wouldn't be surprised if he did start. I really wouldn't.
Yeah. Oh, I'm not saying that there's undoubted. Yeah, he's not without. Yeah, it's not that he's undoubtedly no chance of starting, but I think that is.
No, but I'm with you. I think it's a Robbo and Bradley. I think it's Robbo and Bradley. Yeah.
Yeah. How about for Maka? I love the fact that Maka is finally getting a chance to play that advanced 8 role. I love that we're starting to see a lot more of what we were all wanting and highly anticipating, seeing him in that advanced 8 role, whether it is on the right side, albeit, or whether it's on the left side, still the same. We've been wanting to see him be in an advanced role in that 8. But it's been a little bit more of a difficult thing to see out of him, considering that he's been playing so well and finally being rightfully so appreciated in that 6 role. How are you feeling about our boy Maka?
I wouldn't blame any Liverpool fan that didn't watch Brighton last year. I wouldn't blame anyone for maybe not watching Argentina so much. So for me, it's kind of, there's no surprise there. But I think for some people, they kind of knew who he was, might have seen Brighton play a few times. But for me, he's like one of those Russian dolls. You know those Russian dolls?
Oh, yeah. That has,
yeah. I think
a doll inside of a doll inside a doll.
Yeah, and there's like 10. And I think some fans who've been watching him more know that there's like 10 dolls and we've only seen the first 2. Whereas some people don't realize that because they've only seen him play. So there's so much more. Point I'm trying to make, there's so much more that he's capable of doing and can do. And we've only seen the first few versions of what he can do. Like the kind of holding 6, the slightly defensive
Gotcha.
number
Yeah.
2. But watch him yesterday, like we saw that goal that he could score from outside the box, remember? Yesterday, the guy's taking corners. Like, this guy
Yep.
has so many more attributes. That's what I'm talking about.
In
Those
his
little
locker.
other balls that haven't been taken out. He's brilliant on
Mhm.
set pieces. He can take free kicks. He can take corners. He's probably one of the best penalty takers in the league. If they were to have a competition, which they should, they
Mhm.
just absolutely
Mhm.
should do that. They should have a Premier League penalty taker competition at least once a season. Get everybody together for one day. Every club nominates their best penalty taker. If we put McAllister into
Mhm.
that competition,
Like a
he'd
skills,
go.
like they have it here for
Like
our
they used
MLS
to
here. They
do.
have like a
Yeah, they
skills
used to do
competition
stuff.
type thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they used to do that stuff. Now all their assets are so precious, they won't let. But anyway, let anyone else play with them. But scoring goals, we're going to see more and more because some people have only seen him play in that slightly reserved role, and they just see, oh, he's good at this and he's good at that. So say 2 Russian dolls, right? They don't realize there's about 7 or 8 other Russian dolls. That the more you open them up and the more you let them do. So between him and Dominic Szoboszlai, potentially two ridiculously attacking, creative players. It's just we've seen them a little bit neutered, a little bit Klopp midfieldy.
Mhm.
So don't be
Mhm.
surprised if he starts getting 12 assists and 8, 10 goals, 12 goals from an attacking midfield role because he's absolutely capable of it. So for me, a 9, a top tier performance.
Yeah. Above, I just asked Nalante for his opinion too. Do you put him in front of VVD, or do you put him, or does
Yeah, in
VVD
front of
stay at the
VVD.
top of the class?
Yeah, in front of VVD.
Oh wow. Okay. My captain. That's Brian saying that. My captain, not me, by the way.
Hello.
I know. I'm just playing with you, Brian. I'm playing.
No, you're cool.
Um,
Sorry, I was just making a comment. Nolante should call in if he's free.
Yeah, Nalante. Yeah, if you're free, I will certainly send you the link if you like. You're always welcome for sure. Let me get it up here. I think I hear Amazon Prime being delivered to my home here.
The whole thing. Wow.
What's that?
The whole thing.
Oh yeah,
All of it.
yeah, right, yeah. No, I can hear, because I can hear the music. I heard the squeaks, and I can hear the music in the guy's car bumping. So all right, so let me see. I'm looking for Nalante.
Poor guy's probably peeing in a bottle. I heard about that goes on with those guys.
Yeah, their life is not the easiest for sure. I will agree with that. Their life is not easy.
Jeff Bezos knows how to get that money, man.
Yeah.
He's got space to go to. You know, he needs that money, man. You don't need toilet breaks. Your boss has got planets to visit and stuff.
It's definitely true. That's definitely true. All right, I'm gonna send him this link real quick. Let's move on to our. Okay, so again, I was mentioning this backstage with Brian. It's not that I'm a pretty positive guy. I could be very nice. But people sometimes take kindness for weakness, or that kind of concept. And I know that I did the watch along yesterday, and we were talking about Endo, and we're talking about different players and such. And I remember, I think it was Jamrock was like, "Oh, here's your cookie. If you thought Endo was good before, well, here's your cookie." It was a sarcastic tone of Jamrock, but it was funny that he said it that way. To me, at least, is because if you get criticized and you get reprimanded, or you get mocked, for your takes or for the things, of course you're going to, when you are vindicated by your stance on a player, you're gonna want to stand up and say, hey, recognize, game recognized game kind of concept, you know. So Endo has been one of those players. Endo for a lot of people. Shout out to KJ if he's in the chat. I'm not sure if he is or isn't, but yeah, man. I was on Copish a while back, or actually I can tell you when it was. On the 25th of August, I was on Copish. We picked up, I think, Endo on the 18th, I think, or 16th of August. We picked him up, and I was on there, you know, giving my take. I was looking at all the people that were pro Endo, and I was looking at sitting there writing down names, and I was writing down all the people in the chat that were anti Endo and how he couldn't play and he'd be third string on Crystal Palace, and some of the takes were wild, and I mean wild. But Endo has definitely, like I said earlier. Like I said initially with this player, if you could just see his history with Stuttgart, you will certainly understand why I was very high on this player joining this team, and it was, you know, separate even from the fact of what Klopp had said earlier and the praise that he put on this player, but more so that he was a cult hero for a team that he helped save from relegation twice. And Stuttgart's doing well this year, by the way. They're in the top. They're fighting for Champions League actually in the Bundesliga.
They were in Europe, sure.
Yeah.
They were in Europe when West Ham won the lower one, the Europa Conference League, the lowest. They were in Europe that year.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they're a good side.
Good side. I mean, like, and.
But you see, the thing is, you lose that argument immediately because some people will say, Stuttgart, yeah, don't rate him, irrelevant. You know, they won't care what he did for Stuttgart because they just won't rate Stuttgart. Like, they won't rate they won't rate 3/4 of the Bundesliga. They won't rate Japan.
Even though he did score, by the way, one quick note to that. He did score the goal that kept them up from relegation. Literally scored the goal that saved them from relegation.
But that I'd push up against that.
Celebration was wild.
Yeah, but that's just one goal.
Yeah,
but I'm
I just want to make sure I
No, even if even I'd push back against one goal, I say, yeah, he scored a goal. But no, it wouldn't mean he was but I'd be like, it's just anybody. It's like anybody that had watched him long enough to have known that he was a seriously bad player. Okay, you know, like none of those people that were saying, they were just looking at, right, okay, it's a guy I've never heard of. He plays for a team I don't rate, who are sort of, you know, mid to lower mid German, in my opinion. So yeah, nobody else wants him. He's 31. He's 30. So yeah, therefore he must be awful. Otherwise, he would be playing for PSG or something like that. If he wasn't awful, he'd be playing for Inter Milan or whatever. So without even watching him, they just made those decisions. Because, like I said, if anybody said, "Oh, what do you think of Endo signing?" I'd be like, "I've never seen the guy play football. What do you want me to say? Do you want me to make things up? Because I'm not making things up." So anybody, fair play to anybody that watched him long enough to know that he wasn't good enough to play. Like, if you knew he wasn't good enough to play for Crystal Palace, then you must watch an awful lot of A, Crystal Palace, and B, German football.
Yeah.
Well, fair play to you, Mr. Football Nerd, because I know about two people like that, and they didn't say that about Endo. I know two probably people that could actually sit there in front of me and say, "Oh yeah, I watched a lot of German football last year," and I'd be like, "Of course you did. You're a total football nerd." You know, I completely believe it, but that's like one or two people. And if they said, "Yeah, whatever," but most people in a Liverpool chat, what are you doing watching Stuttgart and Crystal Palace? So it's just hot takes, and yeah, it's It's just someone who comes out of nowhere, and you get these guys. Like Klopp said, it's not what we normally do. It's not what a club normally does. A player at that age, in that position, no sell-on value. It's not what we normally do. But we knew he was
No, I
good
get
enough.
that.
So
Hmm.
just trust the manager. When a player, like, and I kept saying it at the time, of all the fan bases that should know, of all the fan bases that should know, we signed a 36-year-old Gary McAllister to play in basically that position, and we won not the treble, but we won a treble. We won a cup treble
Hmm.
with the UEFA Cup as it was at the time, and part of that was Gary McAllister. You know, a 36-year-old guy who had never played at really the highest level, and even then, everyone knew who he was. He played for Leeds, so we should know.
Hmm.
Like, we brought in older players to do things like that. You know, before, you know, it's not a new thing, but hey, look, that's the internet, you know. That really is the internet. Like,
No, I
people
get
looking
that.
him up on Football Manager and stuff, looking him up on FIFA. Like, oh, he's only got 75 on FIFA. It's like, just please, how do I block you? How do I block people saying FIFA?
I feel you. Yeah, this comment is really, really good comment, I think, by Philip. He says, to be honest, he thought Endo would just be a squad player at best, but he's proving him wrong, and that's what he wants any player we sign that I'm not confident are good enough for us. And that's a valid statement, you know, like as in prove us wrong, you know, prove us wrong. There will be those of us that support you. I get that from the very beginning. I was initially the one of the when I spoke about going on the Coppish broadcast. It was initially to basically say, a give our players a chance. I mean, like for me, when a player dons the red kit, when he is become a Liverpool Red, to me, I'm like, give the player a chance to either prove you right, prove you wrong, and when he does, then call him out for it. But allow for him to at least have the opportunity to get on the pitch and make an attempt. If you're gonna like hate on a player before he ever gets on the pitch, and then consistently hate on him and not even allow for him to do anything or even recognize when he is doing things, then I call in question, yes, you might have an agenda. Okay. But a lot of people, like Phillips just said earlier, you know, like just prove him wrong. And he's willing to stand up and say, you know, and tip his hat and say, hey, you know what? More power to you. You know, I can agree with that.
Yeah, I think that's a lost part of football that Philip has brought up there that really people need to think about a little bit more. That what Philip there said, that when we bought someone who,
Mhm.
from the way we all described him, he just thought he was going to be a squad player. He wasn't,
Mhm.
and he didn't say that in a negative way.
Right.
He just thought, oh, well, you know, squads need
Right.
squad players. So he thought, oh, well, we've just brought in a squad player. And then he said, well,
Yeah.
he turned
A lot
out
of
to be
people
better than I thought he was
thought we
going to
just brought another Miller in. Like we just brought another
be. Yeah,
not say it's Milner's a squad player, but like as in that was the early connection of what he was. It's just
yeah,
just
a
Milner
guy who could play
here.
once every 3 games, he can come in and do a job. And then he's
Right.
saying he ended up being not proved wrong, but it's just like he ended up being surprised. And that's one of the
Mm-hmm.
things that's been lost from football, is for us to go in and
Mm-hmm.
go, oh, well, I didn't think he was going to be that good. I thought he was just this, and he turned out to be brilliant. Now it's like, oh, but 6 months ago you said he wasn't going to be. It's like, come on, we can be like this. We
Mm-hmm.
didn't know who he was. He came in, so we didn't want to lose our minds and say, oh, he's the next Pirlo. He's the next this, he's the next that. So we just thought, okay, he might be a good player. And guess what? He turned out to be better than we thought. Like, that's good. That's a good feeling. It's not something that you should
Mm-hmm.
have to own up to, or, you know, admit to in court. You know, just because you didn't say straight away that he was going to be amazing. It's like, oh, it was a pleasant surprise. We're
Right.
not all football experts. So just
I know.
because you
I
have
get
a
that.
kind of a, you know, just tone your kind of thing back. That's fine for people who don't watch it. Like, we all have our own levels of interest in the game and levels of knowledge about the game. So we don't need to forget that some people, they just, oh yeah, we signed some guy called Endo. He plays for Stuttgart. Sure, look, we'll see what he's like. they're like, oh, he's much better than I thought he was going to be. It's not like, oh, you were wrong, ha ha ha. It's like that's been lost a bit from football. Just that to be able to sit back and go, I don't know. People are
Yeah,
so
no,
afraid to
no,
say,
no.
I
Well,
don't know.
that's the rush.
Yeah, I've never heard of him before, or I don't know who that player is. People are really afraid to say that. They're really afraid to say, I've never heard of him. They think that, they have to say they know who he is and have an opinion on him. Because if you say, I've never heard of him or Liverpool or something, they'll be like, oh, well, what are you doing on a Liverpool channel? So they think they have to have an opinion about something. And then they go down that route of just looking at things like I was talking about. He plays for them. Nobody good has ever tried to buy him, so he must be shit.
Right.
Typical Liverpool. It was a lot of it because it did fit into the typical Liverpool going for the cheap option, ignoring the fact that we just tried to break the transfer record for Caicedo.
Make the world, the premier record for the
It did fit into it really did fit into the typical Liverpool doing things on the cheap. So you even had people coming out saying, "Oh, Klopp was lying when he said we bid for Caicedo. We never did it. It was a fake bid."
Oh, I know there were those that went as strong and as far as to say that was.
Remember the fake bid comment?
Yeah.
Fake bids, fake bid, and then it was like they just did it on the cheap, even though Klopp
they never intended to get him. They knew that Chelsea would always bid above them, or it's just nonsense.
Endo fitted nicely into that narrative, so that was another slight again. He fitted very, very nicely into that narrative. Oh, this Jorgi Schmatke guy buying some nobody from Germany. Yada yada yada. It all fitted really nicely.
Right. How about
that's what we call. One last thing. That's what we call a narrative. That's what we call a narrative. That's a perfect narrative, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I can definitely concede to that for sure. Let's see this. Oh wait, you know what? Because he played winger. I'm gonna move him over here. My fault. So natural. I still have it stuck in my head that I wanted to see. Because I did want to see Gravenberch. I kind of did want to see Gravenberch play right wing, but Elliott did a job yesterday. He did a job. I think Elliott is one of those guys. So before we get into Elliott, let's go into Gravenberch. Ryan G is someone out there that has been, hot or cold when it comes to the appreciation for the player. He's trying to find his own way and trying to find his own settings, to try to get established in his team. I like the comments that he made. I'm paraphrasing, of course, but he was saying about the fact of, yes, he understands that Curtis is going to be, unable to make the start or make the appearances, but it's his chance and opportunity to really, solidify himself with this team and to really could make his mark and his contribution for this team. And I enjoyed the fact that he was cognitive of the fact this opportunity is at hand. It's his as I've heard before, it's his Eminem moment. I think Drunk Vigo was saying it's his 8 Mile moment. Like this is a lot of people. There's a lot of people on this team right at this very moment. This is their 8 Mile moment. And what were your feelings about Gravenberch?
I didn't really see a lot of what he did yesterday. But that sounds right. He was in the game.
Let me give you some of his. I can give you some statistics if you want.
He did. But he didn't visually stand out. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. I was gonna say 78 minutes played. 78 minutes played. 49 touches. 21 out of 25 passing. 2 key passes. One for long balls. Had a shot on target. 1 shot blocked. Was 1 out of 2 for his dribble attempts. 7 out of 13 for his ground duels. 1 for 1 for aerial duels. Committed 3 fouls, but was fouled once. Had 1 clearance, 1 interception, 5 tackles, and was dribbled past once. Those are pretty much all of his stats.
Hey, what's with all these low ass touch numbers, man?
Yeah, I know. That's
Remember
a
we
good
were doing
question.
it before the last game, and it was like people with 58 touches and 60 touches, and in 90 minutes, and it's like someone can come on that does, like, I know we get Chris to come on with the medical stuff. I mean, I
Mhm.
really love someone who can properly explain these kind of things. If we can find someone like that out there, because they can say, oh, we have low touches because this, and this, and it's part of the plan or whatever it is. But it seems to be like, again, we can't all be City or Barcelona, but we are playing a more possession-heavy game. I'd be fine with that if we were playing our kind of super counter-attack game back in the day. But we are playing more possession-heavy, but our numbers just seem quite low. I don't know. Again, we'll look into it. Premier League average and all of that. Are we high? Are we low? But that just doesn't, like, for so few touches to have all of those things going on, 2 key passes and all of that. That's really interesting to me. How in that
Mhm.
few number of touches he had 2 key passes. He had a shot blocked. He had a couple of long balls. He had a couple of, he had a lot of duels. So a lot happened basically in those. What did you say? 48 touches, 49 touches.
Yeah, it was. I
It
can tell
seems
you the
quite
exact number.
low.
49 touches. Excuse me.
I mean, if you look at the list of things he did, and then look at that, think of doing all that, just touching the ball 49 times. That's
Mhm.
interesting to me. But
No,
anyway,
yeah,
I think maybe just an average performance, so a 7.
7 for you, even with those numbers too. I know sometimes. I know it's not. It's all about the numbers and everything else. But I mean, like sometimes it might.
Oh
Maybe
no, it is. It look,
yeah.
yeah, no,
It
for
might
me,
help
no,
you
for
like
me.
highlight some of the like. Oh well, maybe he was involved more in the game. It's just I didn't
But
see his involvement in the
that's
foul.
why,
Yeah.
that's why I like when you read it, because like I am, like, I'm that guy, like, I'm that person who's not. I'm not a stats guy. I'm not a numbers guy. I'm not an eye test guy. I'm that guy in the middle. I like
Right.
both. I like to watch
I'll tell
things,
you this.
and then I like stats to tell me what I missed, so I can make
What you missed.
further
Yes.
decisions.
Thank you. That's
But
what. That's
your
similar
eyes
to where I'm
don't. Yeah, your eyes don't lie. You can watch a player play for 90 minutes, and you can know whether he's good or not.
right.
You can know whether he's a good footballer or not. You can just tell. So,
Right.
but then the rest of it comes. But yeah, you need, as far as I'm concerned, you don't need both. But I like both. I like both. The eye test is unavoidable if you watch football. But I don't
Mm.
disregard stats, and I like the things that show me the things that I can understand clearly. But that just
Right.
seems like he had a very busy day. But again, 7 out of 13 means he wasn't doing brilliantly in that role. Yeah, I don't know, man. Yeah, did he have a brilliant game yesterday? He didn't seem like he
No,
had a
no, I'm
brilliant
not.
game.
I'm not, and I'm not trying to make an argument that he had a brilliant game.
No,
I was just stating.
I'm looking
I
for
was
help
stating.
as much
You
as
said
that
above. You
helps.
said
Yeah, I'm
above
looking for help.
average. You said above average, right? Or did you say average?
I said 7.5, so I had him in high average. But I don't know. Like, I'm almost looking for other people's opinions, because I can't really make an
Well,
opinion on how he played yesterday.
yeah.
Um,
Philip says has had a lot of criticism for his performances this season, but as he was out in the cold at Bayern, he wasn't expecting too much. That's why he won't judge him until the end of this next season at the earliest for his expectations. And then Drunk Vigo says Gravenberch did better than he expected. Yeah, if you look
he's a
at his
big
heat
new
map,
manager.
by the way, if you look at his heat map, there's not one area of the pitch that Gravenberch did not touch, basically. It's pretty impressive. Like he's all over the pitch. It's one of those situations where he's in the left corner, he's in the right corner. He's obviously more so on the left side because that's where he started and played primarily. But left corner, midfield, left side midfield, obviously throughout the center as well, on the right side at times as well. And I'm talking about in the final third, in our third, all over the pitch. Pretty impressive heat map performance if you're looking at it just from those perspectives.
It seems to be what he likes to do is to drift a little bit when he gets confident. He's not afraid to pop up on the left, pop on the right. I like that about him. He does like to pop up in kind of unexpected position. Without a doubt, he's not someone who just sits where he sits and does his thing. So where are we landing him? Where are we going to land him?
Oh, I was going to put him at. You said a 7.5. You said or something like that. So I put him.
Yeah.
I put him in average, and I want to put him in above. I want to really put him in above average, to be honest with you, considering the amount of emphasis and amount of importance of his play is for him right now, especially considering that there's such a magnifying on his play. I would have put him at like a low 8, if not a high 7. You know what I mean? That's personally what I would have put him at. Do you have a problem with putting him at a low above average, or do you want to put him at
I tend to leave the kind of external factors out of it a tiny bit if I can. Just with the match ratings, kind of stuff. Like for instance, without being crass, like I'm not going to give Connor Bradley an extra half point because of his recent circumstances.
Not even say. Yeah, I
yeah,
what you're saying.
Yeah, it's kind of not really relevant because, I mean, other people's parents pass away, and some of these guys playing on, they may be going through stuff as well. So I kind of try and leave that out if I can, but I know what you're saying. But look, Gravenberch from the start.
Yeah.
That's just what he needs. And I just say, on him, one last thing I wanted to say on him is I think he's one of the ones that's most at risk from the next manager. And I'm also saying he could be, and I've said this, don't forget this, I'm saying he could be a guy that because he's so manager specific, the next manager could come in and say, I want to build my midfield around him, right? Option 1. I think that's a problem. Yeah. Build it around him. Yeah. Or you could get a manager could come in and go, yeah, of all those lads, the one I probably wouldn't use would be Gravenberch. I think he's so I think he's someone who could either play a much more prominent role, but maybe don't be surprised if, I don't think we'll sell him after this time, but he could fall between someone like Gakpo is the same. A new man could come in and go, people will move. It's just Gravenberch, someone I think he's going to be desperate to impress.
I think that we're going to. I don't think that, put it this way, I don't think that that the Dutch coach is showing up to these games. This is like the second game he showed up to, by the way, and I don't think he's showing up. Yeah.
That was funny.
I don't think he's showing up to find out if Virgil needs to make the team, or or I don't even think he's showing up to see if Cody needs to make the team. I think he's there to see about Gravenberch, to be honest with you, because Gravenberch is getting starts, he's getting playing time, and these are opportunities to get to see. Okay, has he made the turn from his performances and levels at Bayern? You
hit the nail on the head there. Yeah, you hit the nail on the head there. That he's probably going to show up because he's been told Gravenberch starts.
Yeah.
Maybe he was watching someone else and he could have been. Who knows? But like you said, that would have been pretty much the main focus of attention because he knows that the other.
Yeah.
But look,
I don't think there's any Dutch players on Luton. There's no Dutch players on Luton, at least I don't think so. I might be wrong, but I don't think that. But yeah,
not that we will be looking at, obviously. No, it was funny because the immediate thing would be, was, Koeman, next manager.
Oh yeah. I can understand that could be the narrative that gets out there. I'm looking at it from a perspective of he's been to 2 games, and in those 2 games we've scored. I think 4-1 has been the score in both of those games. So apparently he needs to show up again for all of our games going forward. Get these 4-1s. Our front line all scored. I love it when that happens. That's like I guess that's almost like a frontline hat trick, if you want to call it that, and by the fact that each one of the frontline participants scored a goal. This guy here, was really, really important. I think he was under. I wouldn't say undervalued. Definitely needed to have the criticism placed on him. However, I think our first half, I'm going to go Diaz first off. I'm going to go Diaz first, actually, before I bring up the young man behind me. But I just think Diaz obviously missed a lot of opportunities. Let me get his statistics out there real quick. Let me just share these statistics. We're going to do Diaz first. So everyone get ready for the long haul on this one, I'm sure. All right, Diaz, 89 minutes, 1 goal. Expected, he had an XG of 1.76, an expected assist of 0.05. He had shots on target 3, shots off target 3, shots blocked 4. He was 2 out of 5 for his dribble attempts, 3 big chances missed, 58 touches, 24 out of 20. Again, I know that number, right? That's what you're about to say with the touches.
Am I back?
Yeah, you're here. You're good.
Oh, no, sorry, I was gone there for a minute. Yeah. What were we saying? What were we saying?
I was just saying. Hopefully you heard some of the. Did you get the numbers I was saying?
No, I've been gone for the last minute. Sorry.
Oh, all right. No, I'll repeat them one more time real quick. 89 minutes played, 1 goal. His XG was 1.76. Shots on target with 3. Shots off target with 3. Shots blocked. What are we talking 4. About? This is Diaz I'm referencing.
Oh, Luton. Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, there was someone at the door.
Oh, no worries. Are you getting Amazon Prime too?
Something like that.
yeah, something like that. Dribble attempts, 2 out of 5 for his dribble attempts. Big chances. Here it is. Big chances missed. 3. And
Here we go.
That's the number everyone focused on.
It's not good reading. It's not the report card you want to see, but
yeah, I know. Some of these numbers here are going to get maybe not have to bring out the switch or something. Touches, 58 touches, but accurate passing, 24 out of 27 for 89% for his passing. Key passes 1, ground duels 8 out of 15. He was fouled. He was fouled 4 times in this game. Okay, at least 1 or 2 that could have possibly been even cards possibly.
Yeah, well, we won't worry about that. Move on. Let's not get into that.
Yeah. Okay. That's not. I'm not going to open up that door. But
again, not a ton of touches. Not a million touches.
No, not really that many touches. Considering normally the touches that you'll see I've seen sometimes on some of these statistic reports, like a Virgil or even a Mo Salah, you're touching 90, if not 100 some odd touches. Sometimes in the game.
Virgil, yeah. I want your center half, your number 6 should be right up there. Like you look at a Rodri. Like if you looked at say City at their peak, and again we don't play like City, but Ederson, Stones, and Rodri would have about 700 touches in a match. Absolutely stupid. Yeah. That's what, keeper, centre half, number 6, keeper, just controlling the game all the time. And then someone like Mo, because Mo has about 15 touches in every action he's involved in. He touches the ball about 1 million times. Look, he scored the goal, okay? He gets a goal, but I'm going to say it was an average performance. I'm going to have to. I can't just you can't ignore the first half. Like I said earlier on, if I was a guy from Mars and I didn't know, I sit here and say the guy wearing number 7 from Liverpool should have done much better in that first half. And I'm going to stick with that. I can't. It's got nothing to do with names. It's got nothing to do with fighting the good fight for Diaz as much as I want to do that with you. I know where you're coming from, but I'm going to have to be harsh on him because that was poor. And again, someone said earlier on,
I can give you that.
It's to be done. It's to be done. It's to his credit. They were kind of maybe saying he looked a little bit too desperate to score. But you could see it was like, what was it in the previous game? Not the Brentford.
The team is on his back. He is the best player out there. I get it. At least that's my concept. Offensive threat. He's the biggest offensive threat out there. Possibly.
Oh, yesterday, yeah. Do you remember like the game against not Brentford, the one before that, where Darwin Núñez had about 15 shots in the first 20 minutes? Who was that against? I think the game before Brentford. Darwin had like I think four or five shots.
Burnley.
Yeah, he was just. Yeah, he was so determined to score. He was like trying every second. He was trying to score, and it was like.
Yeah, he was taking shots from anywhere. Everywhere he was letting go from everywhere and anywhere on the pitch. Yeah.
Diaz reminded me a little bit of that yesterday, where he just, like you said, it's his job to score, and he was just trying so hard. So that's to his credit that he kept getting those chances. That's what the best do, you know. They miss and they come back for more because they know if you keep taking chances, you're going to score. Like you're not going to miss all the time if you're good. You know, they know they're going to score. So when you keep coming back for more and more, like the best strikers will miss an open goal from about 2 yards out. You know, not an open goal, but a tight chance from about 2 yards out. They'll just go and they'll laugh. They'll just laugh because they'll know that was ridiculous. That's absolutely ridiculous. 99 times out of 100, I scored that. And they know I scored that. So they come straight back in again. They don't let it get to them. They just know that was stupid. Whereas some people might be laughing, you missed a chance from there. Like, shut up. 99 times out of 100, that's going on. They just keep coming back for more. And that's what Diaz was doing. He kept coming back and kept trying, kept going for more. Got a good goal in the end.
Great goal, actually. I thought it was a really well-taken goal. Stefano, big up Stefano, by the way, Mr. Michael Corleone. He says he feels for Diaz. Basically, if he doesn't play like Vinny Jr., we're disappointed in him. I agree with that statement. I think that's one of the reasons why I brought the statement up, because I thought it was a well-stated comment. And he says Diaz has been contributing fine since Christmas. He really has. He really has been. I mean, like, he's been putting in solid performances. It's just not, top, 9 performances or 10, whatever number you want to use as being your A performances. And why I was going to say this is that we've just rated all these players, Endo, Connor, Kwanzaa, all these different players, and we've rated them pretty decently high. But out of all of them, they were playing in the first half too. You know what I mean? And I get that he should have eaten his dinner or finished his dinner, or however you want to put it. I get that he could have done better with the attempts and opportunities that he had. I just
you can bump him, man. I mean,
oh no, I know. I got him
at 7. I think the chat. What's the chat doing?
Yeah, I would like to know what the chat has Diaz at. What is the rating the chat would put him?
Yeah, because I have him at average.
Right.
But I mean, I haven't seen some ratings, but I've seen lots of kind of support for him, or I haven't seen anyone slagging him off as such, saying no, fail, so maybe we've been walking on too long.
I wouldn't say as far as to go. Yeah, I haven't seen people say he was failing yesterday. But why I'm bringing that up is because I get, out of all the players in that first half, he was the primary, if not the only real legitimate source of offense we were getting period. I get that he hasn't scored. I get that he wasn't scoring.
Oh no, it's not about not scoring. Look, it's just about the glaring chances and misses. You can't take that away. Come on, man. You've got to let
I
people have the pizza. You know, the pizza the way they like it. Some people they're just
I know,
they
and
don't look.
I'm just giving my perspective. I'm
Yeah.
just you know,
But you've got to
verbalize my
ask
perspective.
individuals. You've got to ask individuals as well to get the idea where the things come from. You know, because they can get into a hive mind. This is one thing I find with people, that they do get into a hive mind, or call it an echo. Probably an echo chamber is a better description. Yeah, hive mind is bad. That involves thinking. So as soon as they just, everybody says the same thing. But a lot of times when you actually talk to people, you realize that they don't actually think like that. And they're like, no, okay, well, the more I think about it, the more I think about that. So it is easy to.
How about this?
He's a scapegoat. I just think he's yesterday's scapegoat. Basically, I just think he's yesterday's. He's yesterday's scapegoat, and next week it'll be whoever.
Cody,
it won't be Darwin.
It'll be Cody or something. Yeah.
Well, hopefully we won't have a
scapegoat. Or next week it'll be Ryan. Or next week it'll be it'll be someone else on yeah. Here's a question for you, Brian. Right now, would you swap Martinelli for Diaz? Straight swap?
I don't worry, I haven't gone silent. I've heard the question. I mean, Martinelli last season, he's saying right now because he knows Martinelli is in a slump. Martinelli at his best last season scored he's a goal scorer that plays off the left. Martinelli, he's a really good goal track, whereas Diaz is kind of a creator that plays off the left, or more of an attacking midfielder, a winger type. Martinelli to me is more of a forward that plays off the left. So I can't put them in exactly the same bracket, but Martinelli at his peak last year was on for 12, 14 goals in the league, something like that. Playing off a false nine, excellent. Yeah, I like if we were playing FIFA and I ended up with if there was a pick from two of them and I ended up with Martinelli or ended up with Diaz, I wouldn't be mad about either of them. And that's not sitting on the fence. It's just I can't always go, oh, this guy or that guy. It's just the two of them at their peak. I couldn't really be splitting them, but I think Martinelli is more of a goal scorer playing off the left, and Diaz isn't really he's not a goal scorer. He's an attacking midfielder. But I think Martinelli will have a great future. And I remember, do you remember Klopp tried to get him? He signed a new deal at Arsenal, and Klopp was all bigging him up in the press.
Klopp rates Martinelli for sure.
Oh, he loves Martinelli. He fucking loves Martinelli. And he was trying to drop a few hints in the press. This is when Arsenal were really in the muck. And we were flying. And there was even a few Saka things going around. Yeah. And they signed him up on new deals. And Klopp never talked about him again after they signed him up. But as soon as we thought there might be a slight chance, Klopp was all out there going, what a player. What a player.
Yeah.
And apparently we even tried to make it happen. We tried to break him out of Arsenal. So if that doesn't tell you all you need to know, I don't know what does.
Yeah, okay. I think it would have just would have put a bigger fire under Diaz to have to fight for his position. But,
this would have been before.
It would have been a great headache to have. It would have been a great headache to have if we had both of them, in my opinion.
This would have been 2 years before we even signed Diaz. Was when he was talking about trying to get Martinelli. Because they were kind of saying as soon as Arsenal knocked him in, we knew they were done. Well, I'd say, you'd be talking about at least 18 months, 2 years before Diaz or even arrived. It was the same thing with Saka. They were talking about that 4 years ago. It was before he kind of signed his first big deal. And they were like, as soon as he signed that first big deal at Arsenal, it was don't even bother going back there. But when he was in that kind of limbo where he was still on $3,000 a week, we were trying to kind of get in then. But Same with Martinelli, even though they paid a fee for him. But I really like him. I really like Martinelli.
All right, I'm gonna put Diaz in at 8, despite what I get you said 7. I saw Stefano put him at a 7.5.
Not much between 7 and 8. Not much between 7 and 8.
Yeah. Like I'd put him at an 8. I mean, like I personally, my take on him is just that I just rate the fact that out of all the players, I mean, if all the players were somewhat subpar in that first half. It's just notably that he wasn't scoring, and because he's missing those chances, he gets scapegoated as being, he's having he's subpar game or something along those lines. And that is a subpar performance, albeit he should score. I'm not trying to give him coverage for that, but I am saying that he was the best player of a underperforming group. And then when the second half came, he continued to have a high level. He just put his chance away, and it was a very well put together goal. And
you explained it all. You explained it all yourself there. They were all really bad, and he missed a load of chances.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why the casual viewer is like, yeah, he had a terrible game because they're really bad and he missed a lot of chances.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd have it 7.5. You have it 8. I'm cool with that.
Yeah, I would have put him. I think that number. There's a statistic out there that was really stood out to me, at least, and that was that he was fouled 4 times. Normally, when you look at players, not many players, like unless it's like a Messi, obviously, or Ronaldo, or some, obviously some, talisman style player that is such a focal point for teams that they're trying to, they're going to hack them and foul them and try to like slow them down a little bit. But normally when I see a high foul rate, meaning you had a lot of fouls committed on you, chances are it's because you were a problem for the team, like for the opposition. Like they were trying that they were somewhat unsuccessful in the attempts at trying to stop you, and the only way they could stop you is by fouling you. That's just something that I say is most notable, and most of those fouls were actually committed, I think, in the first half actually too, but all the same, I'm as long as you're cool with 8, I'm cool with 8 too. We don't have to go too hyperbolic and put them in the top tier, despite my feelings for that. Let's move on though real quick, and let's get into someone I think, again, another player that I think is going to have an opportunity to really have a resurgence, a breakout in this team, really be, have his moment in the sunshine, basically, and that is Agent Cody. Cody Gakpo, I thought had a very, very solid second half, especially. He was a little bit, he wasn't exactly the greatest in the first half, but again, that goes back to what we said earlier about no one was really that, significant in the first half. But he had 4 shots on target, 2 shots off target, 2 shots blocked, 1 for 1 for dribble attempts, 1 big chance created, 48 touches. Again, that number very low considering all things considered. Was 16 out of 24 for his passing. That's a little bit lackluster, but had 1 key pass as well. 7 out of 13 for ground duels, 5 out of 6. This is the number that stood out for me the most. And it's what I keyed on the second time I watched the game. And he was 5 out of 6 for aerial duels. We all mentioned the fact that this guy is a tall guy. We all mentioned the fact that we all are expecting or would have expected more because of his height and because of his numbers not being overwhelmingly, eye-catching for his aerial duels. He was committed in this game, man. 5 out of 6 aerial duels. That's really, really good.
Yeah, who are we on? Sorry, I lost. Yeah,
no problem. Cody, Agent Cody.
Yeah, on Cody. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Cody was awesome.
Yeah.
Like, for that, like we're talking about, we're going first half, second half.
Again,
I
yeah,
think he's
the numbers. I don't know if you heard the
well.
numbers that I just said. I don't know if you heard the numbers I just said. I'll allow you to land your point. I was gonna fill you in on some of the numbers I said, and even a couple extras. The numbers I said that were very the numbers I said that really stood out to me were 7 out of 13 for ground duels. Obviously committed to the press, was active defensively. Aerial duels. I was mentioning about how he's a tall guy, but for a lot of us, we were expecting more out of him, but we were underwhelmed by his ability to really have an aerial dominance. And yesterday he was 5 out of 6 for aerial duels. 5 out of 6. He had 3 fouls that he committed, but he was fouled once again. He was fouled 4 times in this game. 4 times he was fouled in this game. Had 1 clearance, 1 block shot. He had 2 tackles. These are all of his defensive stats more so. I thought he really played well yesterday, and he was doing some work yesterday, I thought. And it was great to see him get that goal, by the way, which is a really well taken goal again. Another really well taken goal.
Yeah. Well, just to go in on a kind of just a callback to the previous. As of this is a month ago, right? So
yes,
it's not entirely, but the most fouled players in the Premier League this season, right? And basically all of these players have at least 1,500 minutes and at most 1,700. Okay, so it's a fairly good split, right? So the most fouled players in the Premier League: Jordan Ayew, Bruno Guimaraes, Bukayo Saka, Lucas Paqueta, Anthony Gordon, John McGinn, Ezri Konsa, Phil Foden, João Pedro, João Palhinha, and Morgan Gibbs-White in descending order. So that would have been Jordan Ayew with 65 fouls against, obviously, down to Morgan Gibbs-White with 32. But no Liverpool players on that list.
Mm-hmm.
No, I can't imagine it would have changed too much over last month. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's an interesting list actually. I would have thought, obviously Saka, I would have had him top. But yeah, it's interesting that we're not actually as highly fouled as you would have thought. But I think that's maybe a lot of this to do with play style and all that. But again, it's to do with the amount of touches. I'd really like to get someone like from Tifo in here. Can we afford Tifo? If I send you $50, can we afford Tifo if I send you $50? Get one of those stats guys, those with access to the the computer main brain and all that stuff. Yeah. Get one of those guys in, because there's, like I say, I don't like stats because they're so easily framed. That's why I don't like. Again, when someone says, "Are you a stats guy?" It's like, no, I'm not a stats guy. I just don't like people who use stats incorrectly, and there's a lot of them. Because stats. Again, I know people who've done psychology degrees and have done speech therapy degrees, and you have to do statistics and all of those things, because you have to be able to use statistics when you think about statistically, when you do, surveys, people, all that stuff, and they'll all tell you the statistics is the biggest pain. It's a horrible subject because it's so difficult. Statistics is statistics is difficult for psychologists, is the point I'm trying to make. So if you can use them the right way, that's why I don't like, not you bring up good stats and you don't try and force them into arguments, but you'll see some people who will bring up just a stat completely out of context and then try and force it into an argument, then say, look, that proves my argument, and say you've just chosen one stat with no stats attached to it, no context attached to it. So yeah, anyway, I was just shocked. Jordan Ayew, who would have thought it? Most fouled player in the Premier League as of January.
I wouldn't have. That's a very interesting. Those are some. I wouldn't mind doing that. That sounds. Let's definitely investigate that. Where would you? So what would you have given? What would you have given Cody yesterday then?
An above average, definitely an 8.
Okay.
Definitely an 8. Yeah. He's good for an 8, I think.
Okay.
I like him in that 9. I just like him in that 9.
How about? Yeah, you like him in that 9 spot. I like him as a striker too. I've definitely warmed to him being that striker position. I definitely, if Diaz isn't starting and it means that and Nunez it can start, I would prefer Nunez over Cody, just by a slight edge. But
do you remember earlier when I said I ask everybody what they think their best Gakpo position is? And everybody says left.
And I said left wing. I said left wing.
Yeah, you think left wing? Is that what you think?
I said left wing because only because that's his more or at least that's the position that he plays more. I've seen more sample size of him in the left wing, but I definitely am not turned off by what he produces in that number 9. I don't want to see him in the midfield, to be honest with you, but
no.
But I can see him as that number 9 for sure.
His Ends had him. There's a lot of people. Ends is someone who's.
Oh, I know. Ends has him as a left wing, and that's it.
Yeah. So. Yeah, it's just, so if he wants to play, Diaz can't.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, sure. Well, here's a player that's not going to necessarily push out Mo Salah from his position, but played extremely well in that second half. Was what we expect from him. I know that he's a super sub, somewhat titled player now, but when he does get those opportunities to start, there's those out there that say he should and never he can't or shouldn't start in games, or I've heard that in many chats. But let me give you a real quick show you what Philip says to your answer, by the way, as I continue on. But Elliot, our boy, he's here with us today, so everyone say hello. Harvey Elliott. What are we saying about the young lad Harvey Elliott?
I called it, didn't I, before the game? Elliott goal.
Yeah, you did. You absolutely did.
Remember, I had it on someone else. I had 2 for Cody, and then I had my Endo. I was thinking someone who hasn't scored in a while will score one, and I thought it might be Gravenberch.
Cody was close to scoring 2 as well. He had his shots. He had his attempts, or he had his opportunities to say. But go ahead.
Yeah. Once I looked at Elliott's stats, and I was like, he's only scored once this season. I was like, right, he's better than that, so he's due one. So I had him down too. Yeah.
He
so
Crystal Palace scored, right?
Yeah, the pure guesswork came through, But it's
and one of the goals was also he scored, but he got it, but it was a deflection or something, I think, and he didn't get credit for it. He did, so he scored one. He scored more than once, but one of his goals was taken away from him because it was like a deflection, or it got I think slated as an own goal.
Oh well, if it was off target and it goes in off a deflection, then yeah, that's an OG. That's not yours. You don't want them. You don't want him as a player. You're not going to take him. But well, some players do, But no, he takes his goal. Brilliant. Like I said before, I said, why shouldn't he score? Because we've seen it. We've seen him shoot. We've seen what he can do. We can see him getting in those little areas. He's never going to be Mo, but for his ability-wise, probably good for 6 or 7 more goals than he has. And it comes out, but no one ever wants to see him play out there all the time. That's really not his gig. That's not his thing. He can do the job for you, but yeah, get him into that little position. And if he has to be a super sub, then
be a super sub.
Look, some of the best players we've had. Yeah,
be the best. Be the best super sub you can be.
Yeah, you'll get enough games, and if he's happy, I don't see anybody his age not wanting to sign a new deal and not wanting to be part of the future. When does he let you down?
Yeah.
he's come on, and I saw someone writing it up there. I can't pull it up quickly, but it was kind of Elliot as a substitute this season. Games he's changed by either scoring in or assisting a game-breaking goal. And it's like 70% of the games he's come on as a sub in, he's either scored or assisted. Something along those lines. So every time he's coming on, he's making an
impact.
That makes a big
Absolute
difference.
impact. Yeah.
I'm happy with that.
I mean, if you're someone that can change the needle, and if anything, you can do your spinal tap. I know you like spinal tap. And you can turn it up to 11 basically, right? I'm not doing justice to the line, so I'm not going to attempt it. But just go all the way up to 11. Make that kind of that deal. That makes a difference, and that's what you get from Elliot. I think, if anything, Elliot was a testament of our team yesterday, in that Elliot has such high energy. He's just all over the pitch. His heat maps are ridiculous normally. The amount of energy and running and intensity and pace that he puts into it. He's not the fastest player on the pitch, but the amount of actual energy and intensity he puts on the pitch is definitely you can't find many on the pitch that can challenge that. But yesterday, I think why I say he was kind of a measure of our team was that it's what Klopp said in the post-match interview, and that was the team was kind of high energy, but they needed to kind of like just tone it, like fine tune it. It was kind of like, when you're tuning in, this is definitely dating some people, but when you're using the radio and you're trying to find a state, maybe you're driving in an area and you're trying to find a new radio station because the other stations have gone, and you're trying to tune it in. You're trying to like get it dialed in so that you can finally get that right frequency. That's what it seemed like yesterday for a lot of them. And like the high frequency that he was on, it was great that you're at a high frequency, but too much of that energy is just not really transferring into results for us. And as soon as he dialed it in, it was on point for Harvey. Really, really doing a job yesterday. On my algorithm scores, he got the highest score out of anyone on the algorithm score, and why I say it's impressive is that quite often you don't get 9s in the algorithm that I utilize, at least. And he was an 8.9 in the algorithm. So he was doing something that made the computer say, hey, you might want to watch him on the pitch again, at least yesterday. So it was very interesting. I thought he had a good game, obviously, towards it. And again, this is why I say I almost don't want to rate the first half, because if you rate the first half, all these people should have, basically 7s, 8s for the most part.
Exactly. That's why me and JK were basically giving everyone 7 and 8, because you have to rate the first half. You can't ignore the first. Then what are you doing?
Yeah, I get it. I get what you're saying. I'm just stating that.
But you don't get to you don't get to ignore the bad part and just pick the good bit. You have to take it as a whole. Otherwise, it's a farce. It is what it is. Mm-hmm. Players can be good in the first half and bad in the second half. It doesn't.
No, you're right. You're right.
You got to call it as it is.
I think the reason why he might have gotten. This is the reason why, and this is the statistic that really stands out. And I'm going to repeat it for everyone so that you understand why I'm saying Harvey Elliott and why I invited him in today into the casa here.
He needs to calm down a bit, by the way. Otherwise, or else he's like really, really desperate for a drink or something, and he's been calling you all night. You're just not listening. Otherwise, Harvey, just chill, man. Just chill. He looks really, really angry. Yeah, he looks really head up there, man. So either get him a drink, or the waitress will be with you soon, Harvey. No need to keep screaming and shouting.
So the biggest statistic that stood out, and I'm gonna say this again: key passes. You all know what key passes are. Key passes are very important passes. Obviously, they're key. He had 8 key passes yesterday. 8 key passes yesterday. That's pretty impressive, man. I don't care who you are, whether you're a super sub, whether you're a starter, bench player, whatever it is. 8 key passes. Go ahead. Were you asking?
He plays that little role, that little part of the pitch. He plays it much different from Mo. He really does. Like, I was looking forward to seeing him.
Yes.
Yeah, he plays such a different game. I was really looking forward to seeing him and Bradley linking up. I think I said that.
Yeah, I know you mentioned that in the pregame in the game, the lead into the game that we did. You're mentioning that. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, I thought they might play well off each other. They wouldn't be as, not that Mo was being selfish, but there'd be more interplay than there would be between maybe Mo and Bradley. And they do play well together as well.
Yeah, but I was interested to see how Gravenberch is going to mix into that triangle of theirs as well. Yeah,
yeah, it's always, look, we've been, because of these things, we're doing this a lot, and it gets overlooked how often we're basically lining up with either a formation or a lineup that's never played together before. We're constantly switching. Like, that 11 has almost certainly never started the game together before in that lineup. Never. No chance. Gakpo, Elliott, and Diaz up front, and Bradley at the back, and Kwanzaa in the back. There's no chance that 11 with Keller has that. Literally no chance. This is all new partnerships on the pitch.
This is all new.
You're talking
about. This is all new.
Those triangles that you're talking about. The triangle between the centre half, the right back, and the midfielder, and then that becomes the midfielder, the right half, and the right wing, and then becomes the right wing and the midfielder and the centre forward. All those triangles. There's nowhere to work, and then Endo again, just even by dint of being a new player. Gravenberch by dint of being a new player. Most of these times, these are pretty much, they'll play together in training. But have you ever started a game with these guys before? Actually, looking around, no. I started with him, and him, but I've never started with Ryan there, or I've never started a game with Harvey there. So we're flying on we're on the wing here,
No, I get you. I get what you're saying. No, I absolutely get what you're saying. We only have 2 other players. I'm putting Harvey in top tier. I thought he had a great. He had, again. I think he had a top tier performance yesterday. I mean, he had 1 goal. He had 2 shots on target, 2 shots off target, 1 shot blocked, 2 out of 3 dribble attempts, 76 touches, was 80% for his passing, but had, again, 8 key passes. 3 out of 5 for his ground duels.
76. Sorry, 76. Now that's good. That's good. 76. You know, we're talking about low touches. 76 is good. Now that's high.
That's good. That's getting into that number where you want to see.
Yeah, he's obviously been really heavily involved there. He must. I guarantee. I don't know.
Big up to Cedric Lopez.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I was just going to say, big up to Cedric Lopez. I see you in the chat.
Nice one, Cedric.
No, you're right. He was. Yeah, Cedric's a loyal supporter, and he always he'll listen to us at work, and then and he'll even go home and watch it back, so he can see what we were.
He's always working. Cedric is always working.
Yeah,
Cedric, man, you need to take a break sometime.
Oh, big up. Okay, drop the breaking news.
Oh, breaking news! We all love breaking news.
We all love breaking news. Yeah, drop it.
Can I drop some breaking news? Can I drop some breaking news? Some Liverpool channels are still total scumbags. Because I go onto my little internety device there earlier on, and I'm like, okay, I've been away for a while, a few hours, anything popped up on YouTube. and I see a big title, big headline saying Chelsea make Darwin Núñez inquiry. And I'm like,
What?
really? Chelsea make present tense Darwin Núñez inquiry. Like, wow, that's interesting. So, against my better judgment, I clicked on the live because it was a live, and he was talking about something else, and I'm waiting for it, and after a minute, someone pops in. Now, the stream is a little bit old, maybe 15 minutes old. So, first time that a comment comes in going, is Darwin going to Chelsea? And he reads it out, and he makes a big face as if to say, stop being so stupid. And I'm like, okay, what? And he goes, no, he's not going anywhere. Chelsea made an inquiry last summer. He's not going. And I'm like, oh, Chelsea made, past tense,
Right.
an inquiry for Darwin Núñez. But when people come in, so it should be made, not make. But your title says
Right.
Chelsea made. So when people come into your chat and say, having read your title, sorry, what? Are Chelsea in for Darwin Núñez? You look at them and make a face, and your mods tell them, shut up, don't be stupid. Of course not.
Right.
Oh, okay. Right. So that there, folks, that's how to run a Liverpool channel if you want to have 200,000 subscribers. That's the kind of muck you got to play in, my friends.
Yeah, no, I was just about to say it's the same. It's why I was kind of not only frustrated, but just outright just annoyed at how people verbalize, how people were referencing the Klopp announcement, for instance. And a lot of the announcements that you're readings, you would see these readings or these titles, and it'd be like Klopp leaves Liverpool, or like as if it's past tense, like as in he's already left.
Yeah, Coppish did it. I'll call him out. Yeah, Coppish did it. Or was it Coppish? No, it was Jerry James did it. Klopp leaves Liverpool. That was his thumbnail. Right. Klopp leaves.
For instance, yes, exactly. That is misleading because you're not using the proper tense for the word. Because if I see that means in my mind, I'm reading it and I'm saying, oh, wait, did something happen? Did he get fired? Yeah. Or did he have a breakdown and he just like left? Because that's what it meant. That's what it means.
Yeah, no, it's present tense, it's a definite article. It's basically this has happened. Yeah. It's not Klopp leaving Liverpool, and when someone is that English is their first language, they know exactly what they're doing.
They know what they're doing. They know exactly what they're doing.
Yeah, but it's a cheap trick because everyone else who isn't a moron knows exactly what you're doing as well, and you look like a clickbait dickhead. The only people that click on it are the people who, basically, the 5% of people who somehow didn't get the news, because they'll say, "Oh well, everyone knew what we meant. Everyone knew he was leaving." It's like, yeah, everyone knew, but you were putting it up there just for the 5% of people who didn't know, and will click on your thing saying, "Klopp leaves Liverpool, really? When?"
Oh. Yeah.
So it's pathetic. Like one of my cousins who's only a rugby fan actually said it to me. He said, "Oh, did Jurgen Klopp leave Liverpool?" Now, I'm not saying he saw it on their channel because obviously he didn't, but he was like, "Oh, I heard he left." Like, this guy doesn't even watch. He doesn't know football at all. He's like, "Oh, did the Liverpool manager go?" No, well, yeah, he resigned, but he's leaving at the end of the season. They're like, "Oh, right, I heard he gone." No, he'd heard it like 7 times, But yeah, these guys, like, I just thought that was an amazing piece of work today. Chelsea make Darwin Núñez inquiry, and then calling the people who ask the question idiots. That's really classy.
That's bold.
Real classy.
Yes, I asked definitely. We've only got 2 more players I'm going to rate, even though I know that there were 4 subs in this match. I'm not going to rate McConnell and Dan's. They only played like
No.
11 minutes. I don't want to.
No.
I don't want to do them the disservice of rating them on 11 minutes. Let's just give a shout out and appreciation the fact that they got to play. Dan's especially got to play in what I believe is his first Premier League game, and also the fact that McConnell and Dan's both got to play at Anfield. I think is an amazing place and experience that will always certainly cherish, no matter where their careers go with this club. But what I was going to say is we have just 2 more players left. We can probably knock these out really quick because I even think Bobby Clark and Robbo both got in. Robbo in the 68th minute for Connor Bradley, and Bobby Clark in the 70th minute for Ryan G. Robbo, I thought Robbo played well. I think Robbo, Robbo's consistent. He brings the intensity. You don't have to worry about Robbo ever not knowing what is at stake, not knowing the role that he has to take on. There's a reason why he's a part of that leadership group. I would say there wasn't that much out there that you could say, oh, well, he deserved this or that. But Robbo did get the assists. Exactly what Drunk Figo just mentioned. Stealing my thunder a little bit here. But Drunk Figo says Robbo made a nice little pass to Diaz on his goal. He made a great little pass to him, to be honest with you. We all know Robbo I think unfortunately Robbo gets slated for a lot of his performances. And I don't know if it's really warranted. I think Robbo has been really doing his thing when he had the opportunity. And it's just unfortunate he had the weird shoulder injury. And going forward, I think Robbo understands the fact that he's got to solidify himself as that left back position, considering Simicast has made attempts at trying to has made attempts this year at taking that spot over. Gomez, there's a shout for Gomez to play there. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, just like I was just agreeing with you what you said about Simicast and Gomez there. Robbo was first time in all his time at Liverpool, maybe the first time he's had genuine. I mean, since he broke into that team, I mean, I can't ever think of a time since he broke in that we've had someone pushing him, or like we've always had that Joey G option of doing a defensive one, sticking like base someone to just sit and defend at left back. Before the whole inverted kind of thing, but this is definitely the first time.
Yeah, I mean, he's playing a different role too. He's playing a left center back role.
Sorry, I said it before for the 2 boys, 2 sixes for the boys that came for Clark and Robbo. Yeah, because only.
What would you?
Oh, sorry, not 6s.
Oh, you gave him below average.
Well, no, I can't. No, sorry, not below. Yeah, well, I don't like the wording, but yeah, I'd have to give him a 7 because they were only on the pitch for. Yeah, he got the assist, but
average, average. You can say like they don't have to give him a number if you don't want to.
Oh no, they both came on and like just for a period of time. I can't even like if he'd scored I don't know. He did get the assist, but still just 7. A 6 for Clark, and a 7 for Robbo. But yeah, they're only on the pitch for what 20 odd minutes, and but Robbo gets the assist. So basically, anybody who comes on for like less than a half an hour, I'd put him on a 6 sort of thing. But I wouldn't say below average. You and your goddamn wording are shaking I'm shaking my fist cartoon style. You and your goddamn wording.
Yeah, I know.
Everyone's why
I mean, how much more simple can you get than just saying average or below average or above average? It's like
it's just for me a 6. No, it's just for me like 6 is kind of 6
harsh.
Is average.
It sounds harsh. Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, no, below average sounds harsh, but for me, like I say, for me, you start on 5. 5 is a par. Basically, 5 is par. Like if you play 18 holes of golf and you par every hole, you finish on par. So 5 for me is par, and then you go. Yeah. So then when you do good stuff, you go 6, 7, 8, and if you do bad stuff, you
I'll
drop
put it
below.
this way: if you were like hypothetically, if I was setting you up on a blind date, right, and you're like, oh, what does she look like?
I'm not trusting you.
Like? And I said, no, just ride with me for a second. And I go, and you go, well, what would you rate this girl? What would you rate this girl? What does she look like? What does she look like? And I go, she's a 5. Would you think she's average? Or if I said she's a 7, would you think she's average?
I hope there's no girls listening. If you said 5,
oh no! All right, then let's just go away from that. Let's go away from that right now.
yeah. I would think if
all
you
due respect, I mean, because you know, our Reds queens in the house that do
all women are beautiful.
They're all
women are beautiful.
Yes,
all women are very beautiful.
Exactly. Before we even go there. All right, I'm gonna put I put Clark at that below average. Who's your man of the match? I saw Drunk Vigo gave his man of the match to Macca.
As did JK.
As did JK, absolutely.
Before he left.
2 votes for Macca. Who was your man of the match, Brian? And chat, please do include your man of the match if you can. If you can type it in for us, that'd be great. I'll make sure your vote's counted.
I can't really pick one.
It's tough. These three candidates all are solid candidates for this man of the match competition. I think today.
Yeah. I think I'll go with
Harvey Elliott. He gave us to Harvey Elliott. My fault.
Yeah.
Drunk Vigo. I thought you gave it to Mac. All right. Harvey Elliott was his. My fault.
I'll go with JK. I'll go with JK on Sam McAllister. Yeah. I'll say McAllister. Yeah.
This is a shout too, real quick. This is slightly off topic from what we're saying, but I wanted to make sure I got this included. Philip says, in his opinion, Bobby Clark is the next one to break into the team as a starter in some games from the academy, but that will probably be under the next manager, in his opinion. That's high praise for Bobby Clark. I think Bobby Clark has definitely room. I would say room, but like as in he has definitely the potential to be a real contributor as well. I will say I will definitely give you that. But Philip, tell us. Oh yeah, you didn't watch the game, so you don't have to tell us your man of the match. No issues. But yeah, if you're still in the chat, please do get your man of the match votes in, because so far we've got one for Harvey right here. That's why Harvey's giving a shout out. I think the Drunk Vigo is giving a big shout out to him. And we got 2. We got JK and Brian both giving shouts for Macca as their man of the match. Who else are we going with man of the match here? Definitely, if you can tell us who you are. I was going to go. I could have been controversial and said man of the match was Lucho, but I was going to go with I want to go with Harvey Elliott. I want to go with Virgil too. I mean, Brian is spot on with that. The sheer fact that our captain got a captain's goal, that kind of just like, apparently the smacking people in the back of the head, if not in the face, is like a very common trait on this team. Whether it's by the
coach. And Savage pointed it out. Savage. No, I'm not saying he pointed out that it was happening, but I've seen Virgil do it. But Savage was one of the first people to say it. It's like, this is what we're talking about earlier on about emotional intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
And knowing, it's like he's saying Virgil is walking up behind some people, and he's not just like he's slapping him across the back of the head.
Oh
He's
yeah,
not. This ain't like he's literally he's walking up behind people
smack you can
and
feel.
he's
It's
smacking
not
them
a love
across the
tap.
back
It's
of
a,
the
it's a
head.
smack.
Yeah, and they're turning around and they're ready to go.
Yeah.
He did it to Endo, I think, against Brentford. He did against Endo, and Endo spins around, ninja mode, ready to go, and Virgil's like, "All right," and Endo's like, "What the fuck?" This is like I feel like like your defensive mechanisms kicked in. He's turned around, full attack stance, ready to go. I'm just smacked in the back of the head, and VVD's just standing there going, "Hey." It's
Hey,
just like, George, what are you
he's probably
doing?
like he's going like his celebration. He's doing his little celebration of hey.
Yeah, it's
Going
just
in.
like, okay, yeah, okay, Verge, and it's just like it's a real. I'm not gonna. It's not like it's a power move, but it's just so full on. It's just like, yeah, Verge, man. You're like one of these days, someone's on like that famous video. I don't know if you've seen it, where it's that guy that goes around. It's probably about 15 years old at this stage, and it's that guy that's in like he's in a high school in America, and he's jumping out of places in a scream mask, scaring people, and they set it up by someone on camera. Someone with a camera is pretending to be interviewing kids in the hall, so your man will jump out behind him. And there's a really famous one where they're interviewing in front of a bin, and the guy is hidden in the bin,
Oh
and so
yeah, the
there's a
guy
wall.
jumps.
And yeah, he
He
comes up,
comes
and the
through.
guy he literally doesn't even blink, man. It's the most instinctive thing you've ever seen, and he levels him. He's one of the greatest punches you've ever seen in your life, and he just knocks this guy straight out. And then he like turns back to the girl, going,
Yeah, that was.
"Continue interview." He says, "I don't know what that guy." He just crumples into a mess. It's like, don't sneak up on people and scare them, because one of these days that's going to happen to you. That video alone is almost worth the internet. Like they should have just stopped pranks after, because that's just, oh man, that's still one of my favorite ever videos. That punch is
Yeah,
so
I
good.
know exactly what you're talking about. It's like they're in
Yeah,
like a high school. They're like in a high school like hallway or
it's like
something
in
type
the
thing.
collar. Yeah, exactly. And the guy is hidden in one of those pop up bins in a
Yeah, yeah,
scream mask
yeah.
or something with a
And he
cloak,
has like he
and
has
he
the
pops
mask
up.
on. He just gets
But if you
leveled.
look at the guy, the guy is built. They picked
Oh
that guy,
yeah, he's like an
that guy was
athletic builder.
built. Yeah, even for a
It's
big built guy, he was big. And it like the rule from should have been only interview dweebs, little 7 stone redhead white guys with thick rim glasses and braces. No interviewing.
that's,
Fucking wrestling champs over here
yeah,
with
like
the best one.
exactly starting tight end or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Don't. That guy was on a hair trigger. So yeah, Virgil's just going around slapping people in the back of the head, and they're like, "What the hell?"
yeah,
Yeah, it's so funny, so funny.
yeah. It's one of those things though. You turn around and what are you gonna say? It's Virgil. It's you're
Yeah.
just like
He's
okay.
standing
Let's get
4 inches over you. Or
yeah, exactly.
if you're
I'm gonna let you
Endo,
get that one off this time. You
yeah,
got it. You got me.
even if Endo has to like most people when they look at, they're all big. Most people have to look like they kind of look up with their eyes. Endo actually
Yeah.
has to raise his head up to look at Virgil. He actually
Yeah.
has to change his body shape to look up at the guy.
That's hilarious. So all right. So wait. So we have 2 votes for Macca, 1 vote for Curtis. Curtis. I meant 1 vote for Curtis. That's me thinking way advanced. 1 vote for Harvey. That's definitely his 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 partner in crime there. But 1 vote for Harvey. Any other votes in the chat as well? This is your last call on that, because
2
I
for
would
Matt.
like 2 for Mac, 1 for Harvey. Man,
And
it's a real
two
tough one because
2 of the calls for Mac were panel regulars.
yeah, I got you. I got
Yeah.
you. I got you.
But I
All
also
right, well, this is
saw
gonna be like
I also saw 2 because I was out with As you know, I was out visiting today, so looking at some of the papers, we still have newspapers, and they kind of have their match reports, and they use a lot of the algorithms now. And I saw in two different newspapers that McAllister was also their papers man of the match.
Who actually? I
So
didn't see who got who actually got the man of the match.
Yeah. Don't know because it wasn't on. You see, it wasn't on one of the English channels, so there was no Sky Manager match.
Right.
But yeah, it just obviously don't.
For us over here, they don't do like a man of the match over here for us.
No, you don't get the bottle of champagne that you do in England. Like you get the bottle of champagne, from when you get on Sky. That's the classic kind of, like in NASCAR, they get you get your bottle of champagne, but they had to change that for the Muslim players. It took them it took them about 10 years to stop giving Muslim players bottles of champagne for the man of the match award. And because they were like, I can't even actually hold that. Some of them, they're like, don't even hand that to me. So they came up with a different thing that they do, I think, for Muslim players. But that is a good question. Okay,
you think they would have learned once Mo Salah started playing? You think they would have learned that? But
I think it's flowers. I think they do flowers now for the Muslim players.
Yeah, most of the times it used to be they just gave you the ball. They gave you the match ball, and that was also a symbolic way of saying you were.
No. That's only if you score a hat trick. You only get the match ball if you score a hat trick.
Okay.
Yeah, you only get the match ball if you score a hat trick. And this is the thing that I was bringing up with Savage was last time we were talking was back in the day when you scored a hat trick, you got given the match ball. Say in something as important as the cup final, or even say a World Cup final, you were given that match ball. There was a fairly good chance that you scored those goals with that ball. Whereas these days, with the multi-ball system, if you score a hat-trick in a Premier League game, there's a fairly high chance that the ball you get at the end, you didn't even score any of those goals with that ball.
Yeah.
So there's guys out there that can say, "Oh, this is the ball I scored a hat-trick with in the 1978 Cup final. It's the actual ball." Whereas, Cody could score a hat-trick tomorrow night, and you could have a ball that got thrown in for the last 15 seconds. And that was just the ball that was on the pitch. Whereas, it's kind of lost its meaning a bit. But, you only get the match ball, in inverted commas, if you score a hat-trick.
I'm gonna give my man of the match vote towards since Harvey got one, since there's two for Macca. I'm gonna give it to Virgil, just to show like props and honor, because it's basically you could have just blindfold yourself and picked any one of the three. I think all three had man of the match style performances, but because Macca got the total number of votes, I'm gonna put him as the man of the match. Macca gets the man of the match for us on the Liverpool 12th Man show here. Well done. I mean, well done. Decent game decent and fun game to watch. I think, really, some, obviously the tale two halves, but all the same, I thought it was something that if you haven't figured it out by now, look, it is what it is with this team when it comes to how they start. And this is what I can't say enough. It's not about how you start, it's about how you finish. I'm sure there's different clipped up takes some people probably take from me saying that, but it is important it's not about what you do in the very, very beginning. It's about how and what you do at the end. And, I'm all about fall down 7 times, get back up 8, this team is that team. I said it yesterday, or not yesterday, but yesterday actually, because we did the lead-in. The lead into the game, I was telling you how Brian, how I said I had 3-1 in this game, albeit I had 3-1. but I also said that I thought that we were going to get scored on first. You know, I said that I thought we were going to get scored on, and then we were going to come out in the second half and put up 3 goals. We ended up putting 4, but you know, I think Brian can at least attest that that was the conversation that we had. You know, I think it was live too that I spoke on.
It's like watching an episode of, I don't know, like your favorite show, or like the A-Team. It's like, that's going back too far. Sorry, but it's like, well, what's going to happen?
Back too far for some people.
Yeah, well, it's like, you know, what's going to happen is someone's going to get in trouble, then it's going to get really bad for them. Then they're going to call the A-Team. Then the A-Team will show up, and it'll be a fight. And then they'll. It's like, but for the first half, it's going to go bad, and then they'll show up, and it's like, yeah, watching it every single week almost. We don't worry. It's bad now. The bad guys are winning at the moment, but by the end of the show, the good guys will have ended up winning. We know how it goes. Obviously, it's football, and the first time it didn't work was against Arsenal when we were down at halftime, and it was like, no, it'll be okay. We'll come back, and we did. We got absolutely battered. What we did was 4-1, and yeah, it didn't work that time because it's not going to work every time. But yeah,
I think there's 2 times possibly it didn't work. 2 times. I would also include Manchester United. The United game didn't work, but
yeah, of course. Like the Luton's, it's like I'm not really worried that much at halftime because I've always thought that Klopp is, I'm not going to say best, but he's always obviously been a brilliant halftime manager because we rarely kind of come out.
It's more so than not nowadays.
Yeah, we rarely come out
anything more so than not. More so than not. Most times, Klopp going into locker room, you're prepared. You're almost expecting whatever he says, and I mean he's just talking to people, but all the same, you're almost expecting whatever he's saying is going to motivate these players to another level in that second half. That's an incredible feature to have in a coach.
Well, it's what makes him. To see, this is the thing. It's like when you work in an elite level industry, the guys who aren't the best in the world, let's say they're the second or third best in the world, it doesn't matter what, they all have the same incredibly high levels of skill sets. You know, the guy that's the third best nuclear scientist guy, you know, or whatever it is, or basketball coach. The difference is the guys on top always have that little bit of extra, the stuff that can't be taught, that you can't learn in college, the human bit, the bit that makes them just more relatable. That makes, basically, when it comes down to it, being able to motivate people is kind of almost all of it, really. Like, you can put all the best stuff in place, but if you can't motivate people to do it for you, you're kind of on a hiding to nothing. You know, you're behind the 8 ball from the start. So the guys with the best players, that's why this whole checkbook manager Pep Guardiola thing is complete nonsense. I could have done it with these players. I could have done it with that player. You know, ignoring, like, well, why didn't someone else turn Xavi and Iniesta and Messi into this incredible? Yeah, but stop acting like you could have done it just by being handed a checkbook. You know, there's something special. You know, there's something different in the dressing room because players are highly strung, highly motivated, highly self-confident individuals at this level, and they can look at a coach and go, nah, I'm not buying into you, and that coach is done. They're finished.
Not buying into it. Yeah.
If they don't respect the coach, they don't like the coach. If he hasn't got maybe, you know, medals or the right answers to say, you know, this is how we do this. Some players, they just won't listen, and then you're done. So to be able to make these guys, they're all paid 10 million a year. You know, they don't need you. You know.
How many times have we heard, or not how many times, but there were certain shouts out there that Klopp had lost the locker room. Klopp doesn't relate. Klopp is losing his connection to these players. I think
that
your statement alone. That's
the dressing room
yeah.
lost Klopp, if you know what I mean. Like, it's not like he lost the dressing room. It's just like they weren't there anymore for him, those players that he needed. And this jolt, it's weird that he's left now. It is weird, but I think he must be really knackered, clearly. But it's yeah, we at least we
Not
got
that he
that.
left.
At
That
least the
he's going
Saudis.
to be leaving. He's going to be leaving, Brian. He's going to be leaving. Yeah,
Yeah,
I know what you meant. Though. Yeah.
Oh. But at least the Saudis came in
I
and
don't
kind of
want you to get.
threw
I
a
don't want
hand
you to
in
get
it.
clipped up saying he left.
Yeah.
He hasn't left.
No,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying. We had a we had a mess that needed fixing, and we were probably going to drag it out over a longer time. And that mess was Milner, Henderson, and Fabinho. And all of a sudden, we were offered a complete new room where, boom, we can take them all, one job lot. They're all gone. Right, okay. Then the instant rebuild was there. What could have taken a year and a half happened in one summer. 4 new midfield, all started. So that's what he would have wanted, and that's what we all wanted. So I think it's unfortunate that he's run out of energy, but I think it's the best way to do it, because if he stays too long with these new players, they will become his players.
It'll go flat. Yeah, and it's
even
like,
one more year, they'll become his players. I think he can keep like a Szoboszlai, a McAllister, a Endo, and a Gravenberch just for 1 year, and they won't become Klopp disciples. They won't be, these people who've only ever played under Klopp and will be crying tears when he's left.
Gotcha. Yeah, totally.
They can pass them on to the next guy and go, look, they're your guys now. They're not all wedded to me. They're not all, So I've broken them in a little bit. They're here for the club, obviously, but they're not going to be like a Salah and a Trent who's only ever played for Klopp and has won everything under him, all of that stuff. So I think he's using his brain a little bit that way.
No, I agree with you. Well, we're coming up on the last 3 minutes or 2 minutes of the show here. I wanted to thank JK for being a part of the ratings in the very beginning, and I know he had other commitments, so appreciate it all the same. Though I want to especially thank the chat. The chat is always undefeated. Mighty Red Army. Mighty Red's Army is always undefeated, and always definitely appreciated that they show the love. They stick with us, whether they're working, whether they're driving, whether they're at home, whether sometimes they're, even if they're on a date sometimes, or whether they're
all three at the same time.
Yeah, we're all three at the same time. They definitely show that the moniker of "You'll Never Walk Alone" is more than just a moniker. It's a way of life, and appreciate that. And of course, Brian, big up to you, Brian. Thank you as always for helping me out and bringing us, the yin to the yang here, guys, and keeping a balanced and measured approach against even my own takes, if not the chat's take, at least my own takes, out there. So thank you.
Even though I did get a bit grumpy earlier on, and I did have a few things to say, and someone said, what was it? Rev said, I'm going to leave Brian alone. Because he sounds grumpy.
He said,
Brian's what do you call that? Yeah, Brian's always like this. So I'm like, yeah. As I said to the guys, one of these days you might see the monster. But
no,
not yet.
Pause on that. Pause on that one. Yeah, I'm gonna pause on that. Yeah. That's a legitimate pause. I don't like dropping many pauses anymore because you can pause pretty much every statement. But just in case, we'll pause on that one.
One day, before I retire, I might go full nuclear and settle some scores. I'm only joking. Don't worry.
Hey, trust me. Friday, tomorrow. It's gonna be a fun episode here. It's gonna be a fun episode on a couple of different channels that I plan on making. I'm making the because yes,
top part of it.
I've definitely made a list. You guys
Can
wanted
we-
the Punisher. You wanted Frank Castle.
Can we tease? Can we show? Can
You
we?
wanted
Can you give a
Frank
teaser?
Castle. You're about to get Frank Castle.
Yeah. Well,
But,
teaser is just make sure you're watching. Make sure you have notifications turned on. That's all.
absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. It's always a pleasure. And again, I would like to make sure to emphasize, you guys out there, please take care of yourselves so that you can take care of the other loved ones that you have in your lives. It's important that you definitely are active and hold on to the cherished moments that we have with each other. It's important because you never know. Life is very fragile. So therefore, make the most of the time that we have with these individuals in our lives. Reds, especially, let me say this, you'll never walk alone. It's something that definitely is important to me. And I know it's important to you. I can see that by the fact that you guys do chime in, you tune in, you're sure to comment, you're sure to like, you're sure to hopefully share. I know that you do your part and everything else, and that's what I do humbly appreciate. So until tomorrow, until Frank Castle makes his appearance tomorrow, all the same, I'll be here. I'll be doing my he's doing a Frank Castle kind of like face right there. But yeah, until tomorrow, definitely take care of yourselves, take care of your loved ones, and yeah, we'll see you tomorrow. Thank you.
Take care, everybody.